Are we rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. I took a walk around the world to ease my troubled mind. I left my body floating somewhere in the sands of time. I watched the world float to the dark side of the moon. There was nothing I could do. Ooh. It's Kryptonite by Three Doors Down.
Yeah, you're not gonna sing the fucking...
If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? If I'm alive, then will you be there?
Holding my hand.
I keep you by my side, my superhuman, my kryptonite. Yeah!
There you go.
Perfect.
Full cover coming next week. All right. So yes, welcome back to Screen Weens, the only podcast to have two people talking about something.
Only podcast.
The only podcast to exist by definition.
Yeah, no, see, we kind of hacked into the dictionary and we rewrote the definition of a podcast.
The podcast has to have somebody named Thomas. It has to have somebody named London.
Occasionally they have to, or every episode, pretty much every episode, they have to answer questions from a guy named Pierre or else it doesn't qualify. No, we're not. Pierre, we're not a podcast.
This is also at least 1 day late. It might be 2 days late.
Should I pull out the,
Soon, yeah. Well, we're gonna need it.
What did we name it again?
Eugene, I think.
Eugene, yeah.
Like the character from DDoSer.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Go watch DDoSer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, welcome to our special, not a director deep dive, not an actor deep dive, kind of like when we did Nightmare on Elm Street, just a series deep dive we're watching. We watched Superman 1 through 4. And then Superman 2.5, pretty much.
Yeah. Superman Returns, directed by the disgusting Brian Singer.
With the disgusting Kevin Spacey in it, which is... Oh,
yeah.
It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one. But I don't know if we'll talk about it third or fifth. Probably fifth, because we tend to go in order of sequence. But yeah.
It pretty much just... it just ignores the events of 3 and 4. And even then, it's only like a loose sequel. It's more like a spiritual successor to like 1 and 2.
If you watch the Richard Donner cut, there's more of a reference, because in the Richard Donner cut of 2, instead of Superman's mom being the one who's like, I'm going to tell you all about this Kryptonian stuff and the whole process that he goes through in number 2, it's they brought Marlon Brando back. I don't know if like when Richard Donner parted from the project, if like Brando like stood with him or what the deal was with that. But
they just had trouble getting like the rights. It was just
so they basically had to rip that stuff from the film. But he's got this line when he like gets his powers back, which do they show that in the theatrical cut? I don't think they do. They show it in the fucking Donner cut.
Yeah, he just kind of shows up. He's like, hey, my powers back. I'm like,
yeah, I'll explain that deeper when we get there. But he has that line where it's like, the son becomes the father becomes the son. And they like play
they said that in the first one, too, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay. I might have just tuned it out since I watched I technically watched 6 of them like pretty close to each other. Because I watched the two different cuts of 2 back to back.
Oh, that must have been a journey.
It wasn't too bad. I was having a lot of like kind of just nostalgic kind of like, I haven't watched these movies since I was like at least 10.
It's really funny because the only one I had any nostalgia for was Superman Returns. Because that's the only one I'd seen.
I went and saw that one in theaters.
Yeah, I believe I did too.
And that was around the era that I think I just kind of stopped watching Superman altogether. Because like the following years, that's when like Batman Begins came out, like shortly after Superman Returns and the Nolan trilogy. And then I tried hopping back on the train when the blessed Zack Snyder graced us with Man of Steel, and I went and saw it.
I'm really worried I'm going to rewatch it, because I enjoyed it when I watched it, but I'm like...
I don't think it's as bad as some of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the first, 45 minutes of it this week, and I was kind of in and out. I wasn't really super paying attention, so I was like, I'll just scrap it and I'll restart it and we'll watch the full thing later. And I gotta say, I'm not a fan of when your Hollywood professionally shot movie literally looks like they had a camera and just went The entire fucking movie. It's like, holy shit. How? Why? Do you think this is appealing?
Yeah.
It's not. It's making me motion sick. Stop. But aside from that, and just how bland they portray Clark to be, and you could say the same thing about the Christopher Reeves movies, but I think that there's more there than there is with the Snyder movies.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, so I guess let's get on a little segue. Let's step away from the Superman talk for a minute, and let's just talk about our weeks.
I just farted.
I could tell by your body, like not body actions. What's the fucking body language?
Yeah. Let's see. I actually watched some movies this week.
Oh, nice.
Believe it or not, I'm back on the trend. I think I'm going to start watching movies again. I watched Scream.
Oh yeah, did it hold up?
I hadn't seen it since I was like 9. I thought it was awesome still.
See,
I really liked it.
My big problem with what I remember about that movie is I don't like the fact that in the movie they acknowledge all the tropes, but it doesn't really feel like they do anything about it. Like, there's none of the characters are like, I've seen these movies. I know what his logic is, because he's also running off the same movie logic I am, so therefore I can maybe outsmart him with that. It doesn't feel like they ever, in any of the Scream movies, from what I can recall, try that. And it's like, you're fucking 4 movies deep.
Yeah.
You're going for this meta commentary.
I haven't seen any of the other ones. I don't think it's as big of an issue in the first entry in like the series, but if they do it just for all 4, I can definitely see an issue with that.
Yeah, I haven't watched them in years, but I remember, I don't know if I still stand by this statement, but I remember thinking 3 was the most entertaining at the very least. So I don't know, but I literally haven't watched those since 4 came out, so.
Well, okay. But you'll see Scream 5.
I will. I'll go back and I'll rewatch all of them.
But I really enjoyed Scream, but
it's also got Matthew Lillard in it, which is a huge plus.
Yeah, and he's awesome.
Yeah,
he's really good in it.
So is like Neve Campbell's good in it.
I thought in general I really liked like everyone.
The whole cast is pretty good. The other standout one to me is it Jamie Kennedy that's in that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't typically. He doesn't play roles like that, so it's kind of like...
I mean, he's playing a goofy role in it.
Is he?
Yeah.
I guess I just remember...
You're thinking of the main character's, like, the boyfriend?
No, I know who you're talking about. I am thinking of his character, because he's the one who makes all, like, the meta commentary on the movies.
Jamie Kennedy? Yeah.
Just compared to, like, some of his other movies, like Kicking It Old School, like, shit like that, it's very mature for him, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
But maybe he's done some other stuff that isn't Son of the Mask.
That's a great movie. I remember really liking that movie, like, that as movie, a child. But
I used to fucking rewind the fucking, like, first scene where he puts on the mask and he's, like, in the nightclub and he does, like, the I love you, baby. Like, I used to fucking just, like... Because that was, like, the first time I had heard... That was, like, my only exposure to that song at the time.
This song's epic.
Exactly. I'm like, wow. I'm sure if I watched it now, I'd be like, what the fuck?
And I don't know why, but when I was a kid, I was like, the dog wearing the mask is funny.
Well, the dog wearing the mask is objectively funny, but yeah. What's a better Loki? The Loki from the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the Loki from Son of the Mask? It's the guy from...
it's Alan Cumming. He played Nightcrawler in X2.
In the fucking Son of the Mask?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I know he was in, like, Spy Kids.
Yeah, he's all over the place. He's really good. He's a really cool actor. Like, I really like him, and he does a bunch of cool stuff, like, in his personal life.
Yeah, I want to say that there was some, like...
I think he's legitimately, like, pretty decent, at least from what I remember.
Yeah, there was...
I feel like I'd probably like him more than Tom Hiddleston's Loki, but...
Maybe, if he...
I just think the MCU Loki's just kind of boring.
Yeah, they definitely could do more with him.
He's probably the most entertaining in, like, Thor 3.
Yeah.
But that's just a comedy movie.
Mm-hmm. Fucking what's it called? I want to say that there was, like, some movie that he was in. Not Hiddleston, but the guy who played Loki in Son of Mask. that I really liked, but I can't think of what it is off the top of my head. I don't know what it would be.
Okay. Did I talk about Dr. Sleep last week?
I don't think so. Can you rewatch it or something?
Yeah, I rewatched it. I watched the director's cut, which is 3 hours instead of 2.5. I like that movie more than The Shining.
Okay.
But I'm also like not the biggest. Like I like The Shining. I think it's a pretty great movie, but I don't know. Dr. Sleep. Maybe it's because Ewan McGregor's in it, and he's amazing in that movie. But
I haven't seen it yet. I want to read the book first because I read The Shining not last year, but the year before. And I just feel like I was like, fuck, I just want to read the book.
But I really enjoyed it, and which is weird because I'm usually not a huge fan of Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
Or even if I am a fan of him, I'm like, it's like a 6 out of 10. No. And speaking of directors I'm not usually a fan of, I rewatched Safety Not Guaranteed by Colin Trevorrow.
What does he do?
He did Jurassic World. He did The Book of Henry. He was originally supposed to be the one to make Star Wars Episode 9.
Who? I want to say, didn't like Star Wars Episode 9 have someone like from the fucking Justice League credited like on one of the writers? Yeah. I remember looking at the fucking IMDb before it came out and being like, uh-oh.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm holding out hope though. The Safety Not Guaranteed is like a movie that I really, really liked when I saw it like 8 years ago. And it was my first introduction to Mark Duplass. It's still pretty decent. Like, the main story is really cool. I really like it. But there's a bunch of side stuff that's, like, really boring and dumb.
Okay.
And it's just for padding. And the movie's like an hour and 20 minutes. So they're like, we need padding, And I'm like, no, just make, like, 40 minutes of, like, really cool shit.
Yeah. Guys, don't be afraid to make a 45 minute. That's the feature length standard. Like, it's technically feature length if it's 45 minutes or above.
So, and think about how many tickets you could sell.
Yeah.
Actually, probably not. They'd be like, I'm not going to pay $8 for a ticket to a 45-minute movie.
Yeah, probably. But, maybe if you got, like, fucking, what is it, like, rewards programs or whatever, you get a free ticket and go watch that 40-minute movie, 45 minutes with credits.
And then I rewatched Weathering with You as well, which is the Makoto Shinkai movie.
I still haven't watched that one.
I really like it. I don't really understand why people don't like it that do like Your Name, because they're so, like, similar. And I was like, I don't really get it. But, like, it's fine if people don't like it, but I really liked it, and I think it's, like, prettier than Your Name. It's beautiful.
I'll probably try to watch that soon, because I wanted to, like, go through and, like, finish off his movies that I hadn't seen.
Yeah, I
still haven't seen
too.
5 centimeters per second.
There's a couple I still haven't seen, and I'm just like, I start these little projects in my head, and I'm just like, and then I don't finish them. I'm surprised I finished the fucking James Bond one.
Yeah. I feel that.
And then, today I did watch Superman Doomsday.
Oh, the 2007 one or whatever.
Have you seen that one?
Mm-mm.
It's all right. It's pretty. I gave it a 6 out of 10. It was decent. I like Lauren Montgomery. We talked about her last episode, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just the first 20 minutes are pretty interesting, or at least pretty entertaining, if a little like generic, and then Lex Luthor is like really, really gay for a bit, but besides that, it like hits a huge slump, and it's just kind of a chore to get through the next like 30 minutes, but then the last 30 minutes are good. And the Lois Lane in it's pretty cool. I like the interpretation of her.
Okay.
And the voice cast in it's pretty strong. Like, I really like a lot of them, but I didn't like who played... I think one of the Baldwin brothers played Superman.
Oh.
Wasn't like... what was it? Is it Adam Baldwin?
I know that the only ones that I'm really familiar with is like Alec Baldwin, clearly, because we all know.
Yeah.
And then fucking the one who was in that fucking Flintstones sequel.
Oh, yeah.
He's like one of the younger ones. And isn't... I might be wrong on this, but isn't like... fucking...
Just kidding. This Baldwin's not even related to other Baldwins.
Oh, okay.
He just kind of looks like him, too. And maybe just all white people look the same.
Maybe. Isn't the, like... I can't remember which one's which. Bill or Ted. Aren't one of them a Baldwin? The one that's not Keanu Reeves?
No, that's Alex Winter.
Winter. Okay. I don't know why I always...
Winter, Baldwin.
I always think he's a Baldwin.
Winter. Baldwinter. Maybe his name is Alex Baldwinter.
Maybe. The one Baldwin I was talking about was also Biodome.
I've heard that movie is fantastic.
You would love it. You should watch it.
Who's the guy in that?
Pauly Shore and the one Baldwin.
Yo, I should pick Pauly Shore as an actor, dude.
Oh, man.
He's had other movies in, like... I'm in the army or something.
He's in, like, a bunch of movies. He's the Weasel, man. The Weasel. He's in a Goofy movie. He plays his, like, Max's stoner friend who likes eating...
Oh, that's right. That's one of the good roles he's in.
Yeah. Well, that's fitting because he's in the movie for, like, what, 5 minutes max, maybe?
He's in Encino Man. Yeah, that's probably...
He's in Encino Man.
I haven't
seen
Encino Man.
Son-in-Law. He's in...
In the Army Now is the one I was thinking of.
Okay. I haven't seen that one.
He's in Son-in-Law with... somebody else. I can't
Some
remember.
old white guy. I watched that movie on cable, like, 10 years ago.
Yeah, we should definitely watch a bunch of Pauly Shore movies.
He's got like a documentary that's like more... I wouldn't call it modern now. It probably came out like late 2000s. But it's kind of just analyzing the life and death of his career.
Oh, yeah. Is it Pauly Shore is Dead?
Yep.
That was 2003.
Oh, wow. Even earlier than I thought. That wasn't even that long.
It's actually a documentary. I think it's like a joke thing. We should watch that. Oh, instead of like the DC era, we should just have the Pauly Shore. Or like we have like 6 episodes.
Now look,
we go through his entire filmography.
If you want to do a deep dive, I could maybe consider that. But talking about a Pauly Shore era is the kind of shit that's going to get me.
The Pauly Shore era
is the kind of shit that's going to get Pierre on this podcast instead of me, because I'll be leaving. I ain't sticking around for that shit. I think that would be where I'm like, no. Absolutely fucking not.
It'd be good.
You can make me watch To Boldly Flee, but if you make me watch more than 5 Pauly Shore movies.
What about it? Okay, so 5. 5's the limit. Got it.
You just like look on Letterboxd for like the lowest rated ones.
No. What are you talking about?
But yeah, I haven't done much extra this week. I spent the majority of like my movie watching power watching the movies this week.
Yeah, you watched 6. I watched 5. Yeah, I get it.
And then I watched half of Man of Steel. I was considering watching some of the cartoons, but I just never got around to it.
I did just watch, just now, we watched an episode of Death Note, because Hinata is bothering me to watch Death Note. And then we watched an episode of Young Justice.
I want to watch one. Young Justice at some point soon.
Seems pretty good so far. Like, we only watched one episode, but it's like, seems like I'm pretty interested in it.
Yeah, the fucking...
And I've heard it's really good.
The, like, head writer from the Spectacular Spider-Man works on that series, and the Spectacular Spider-Man is, like, my favorite Spider-Man shit. Like, it's great.
Oh, I did read a little bit this week. Not Worm.
Mm.
I need to jump back on that. I, like, started it, I got one in, and then I'm like, now I'm going to read other stuff. But I picked up, on the recommendation of one of my coworkers, I picked up, it's like 14 issues. It was a small run. It's a Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man from 2019.
Oh, yeah.
Not the early one.
I've heard of that.
It's really good. I really liked it.
Okay.
I got the first volume. I read it in like 30 minutes. I'm like, I need to get the second volume because it was only 2 volumes. I'm like, it was really cool. Because a lot of it is just like more Spider-Man as a person, and like helping the smaller guys. I'm like, yeah!
Yeah.
You must one of us, you must one of us.
Yeah. I want to read Nick Spencer's run. I don't know if he's the newest writer to take over the main Amazing Spider-Man, but he's one of the newer ones. Nick Spencer is most famous for like the whole like Captain America going like Hail Hydra. Like that.
People didn't like that one.
People didn't like that one.
Do they like it now? Do they like it in retrospect?
I don't know. I can't say honestly. I don't know if that was like, I think a lot of people just kind of saw that panel and were like, fuck! No! That goes against everything I stand for! But I don't know. Like, I think Nick Spencer, from what I've read, seems to be a more competent writer than to just kind of like do something so sloppy like that without like, I don't know, doing stuff, making it kind of worthwhile, or, because I mean, let's be honest, Captain America's an old fucking superhero from like the World War II. Heaven forbid somebody tries a fucking different idea with him.
Yeah.
But apparently, like, because I don't know if you know much about the main Spider-Man continuity, but around, like, issue 500-ish, there is this...
Luffy shows up.
No, I wish. Luffy's actually big inspiration by Spider-Man, because...
I thought you were going to say...
No,
I'm like, wait, what?
No. Because, like, obviously, like... Spider-Man has his web-slinging powers, but Luffy has stretch powers, which most people would probably point out, like, Mr. Fantastic.
He has stretch powers? I don't know anything about
Yeah, so Luffy...
I just thought he had, like, a gun or something.
No.
Does he not have a gun?
The One Piece world has basically 2 big power systems in it. It's got this thing called Haki, which is basically, like, manifested willpower, which I'm not even going to begin to try and explain that, because it's basically, like, 3 different types, but... The other big power is devil fruits, which are a more rare thing in the One Piece world. But basically, they're fruits that have, like, superpowers attached to them. There's one of each. And, like, they take away your ability to swim. And yeah, Luffy has one of the devil fruits that makes him it's called the Gum Gum fruit, but it basically turns his body into...
Oh, I've heard the Gum Gum fruit, yeah.
Yep. So... That is what Luffy has. So he's stretchy, he's elastic, he can blow himself up into a big balloon. Yeah, so. But anyway. Yeah, so he stretches and he moves a lot. Like, he can swing kind of like Spider-Man does. But anyway. What was I saying? Oh, but Nick so basically, like, Michael J. Straczynski, I think is the name of the author, who was writing Spider-Man at the time, when basically they did this story called One More Day.
Wait, who's did that one?
Michael J. Straczynski.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't...
I've heard that is also a pretty controversial one. I know what happens in that one.
Yeah, so basically, it wasn't him. Like, he wrote it, but that was at the end of his run, and basically, like, the head executive at Marvel, who I guess was going through, like, a big divorce at the time, was like, no. Peter Parker's growing up. He's like in his 30s now and he's married to MJ. Mm-hmm. Like, all the reader investment is gone. We need to nuke it and reset. So basically they had the whole like out of character deal with Mephisto that he makes and like ended up resetting the whole universe and basically making it so him and MJ can't be together anymore. And that completely fucked the Spider-Man timeline.
Yeah. They're still not together.
To modern day. And Nick Spencer is like kind of been picking up the plot thread. Because after Straczynski was Dan Slott, and he comes in, and Dan Slott's an interesting writer. He did a lot of the stuff for the video games, including the new one. Oh, okay. And I like Dan Slott, but he kind of has this tendency to like, it's like, I want to create a weird kind of one-off. He should be writing mini-series as opposed to the main series, because it's like, he tries these really experimental ideas. To do that, but then and resets.
Oh, okay.
So like, Superior Spider-Man, that was like a Dan Slott story, Spider Island, all sorts of them. So.
I almost picked up Superior Spider-Man. I'm probably going to start reading that one next.
Yeah, it's a good one from what I hear. I haven't read it though. But yeah, so then after Dan Slott, Nick Spencer came in and kind of started picking up from like where Straczynski's run was kind of like heading towards before the whole One More Day. And I know that a while ago there was like people were talking and it's like, oh, it seems like there might be inching towards like undoing One More Day, but I don't know if that ever came to fruition.
2 more
days. I haven't kept it. No, because after One More Day, they did like the big reset, which is Brand New Day, which is like the first volume of the new stuff. Technically, I've got like a big chunk of the trade paperbacks, and I've got like that entire era. So
you just buy things, don't do anything with them, don't you? No,
I do. I will admit that is a certain chunk of my collection. The reason why I'm like that with Spider-Man is because I wanted to like. My goal was to like collect as much of it as I could in trade paperback, and then go and like read it all. But a lot of the early stuff, unless I get like the hardcover omnibuses, I can't get.
You have some all.
I know, but I've already started collecting them in the trade paperbacks that they release out of order and like once every 2 years.
Classic.
So that's why with Superman, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going hardcover omnibus.
There you go.
Make it a lot easier. But yeah.
I'm not ignoring you, by the way. I'm looking for something for the next episode because I forgot we were doing that.
Oh, so we're doing the, okay. Cool.
But yes, let's talk. First, I just want to make sure, because we did a new recording setup that we haven't done in a while, I'm going to pause it, I'm going to check it,
okay,
and then we'll jump into questions. And I need shit, so.
Where were we? Oh, yeah.
We're going to questions. Welcome back, everyone. I took a big shit.
Yes. Okay. These are all going to be directed at you, since I have the answers in front of me.
Oh, we're doing trivia. Welcome to trivia time.
That's what you said before you went to go take your big shit, before we started talking about the big salad.
That's true.
Which nobody was here for, but the big salad exists. Look into it. Don't let them cover it up.
Don't let them cover it up.
But, okay. Let's see. Question. What was the first feature-length animated movie ever released? Do you want a hint?
Sure.
Disney.
Fantasia? No. Wait, no, that's not right. Snow White?
Hi ho, hi ho. You got it right.
Well, I think, was that 36?
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't tell me the fucking year.
Fantasia was 40. So.
Yeah, I know. I think Bambi was like 41, which
41. I think,
is another
43. One or
I would have guessed Bambi, honestly. But okay. Let's see. Oh, here's one for you. What TV show was Jack Nicholson referencing when he ad-libbed "Here's Johnny" in The Shining?
Happy Days.
No, The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson.
It was Happy Days. Okay. I don't know shit about old things.
Oh, no. There's a couple in here that you could probably answer. Oh, where'd this fucking one go? There's one in here. Where's the go? One is going to love this one.
Ben Quadaneros.
Hold on. Sorry. Hold on.
Here's a fun fact of DC trivia for you. In Superman 3, Gus Gorman was originally supposed to be the human disguise of Brainiac.
Oh, in Superman 3?
Yeah.
That makes sense, because I was like, this seems like they were going for a Brainiac thing, but didn't quite get there.
Yep. There was supposed to be a sequel to Superman Returns as well with Brainiac.
Here's one that you'll definitely know. Which 1948 Alfred Hitchcock movie starred James Stewart and was shot to look like one continuous take?
What's it called? Oh, is it Rope?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember that.
We've watched this
I'm
together.
like, yeah, I just was like, oh, what's the name?
They had a fucking 12 Angry Man 12 Angry Men question.
Man.
12 Angry Man! But I can't find it anymore. But it was just asking, like, what the fucking actor was in this movie? Bro. But
it was Henry Fonda.
The answer was Henry Fonda.
I did it.
Woo! Here, let me try to find one that you would most definitely, maybe, possibly know
just
about.
Anyone. I can get it.
Okay. What was the head of what kind of animal was front and center in an infamous scene from The Godfather?
A movie I have not seen. I'm gonna say a goat.
A little.
A sheep.
Yeah, you're straying for
a ram.
Think bigger. A little bigger.
A big goat. A deer?
You're kind of like, you're in the kind of right range.
A cow?
Think, what do people ride?
A horse?
There you go.
Well, thanks for spoiling the gut. No,
it's like one scene in the first, 20 minutes.
It's like, we're gonna eat this horse's head now.
What movie did Tom Hanks score his first Academy Award nomination? This is not one I would have guessed, but I kind of love the answer.
I don't know. Forrest Gump?
No, it's Big.
It's Big. Oh, I should have known that, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like I used to know that. I used to love Big. Dude, I haven't watched it in a while.
I haven't watched it in a while.
It's probably a little creepy in that one.
I'm sure probably a little bit, but I remember that movie very fondly.
Big.
Dude, it's bigger? Me. He still knows the handshake. There's that fucking viral video of some band going out. Do you still know it? He's like, of course I still know it. And he does.
I do it every day.
He probably does. He probably has fans come up and start it. And he's like, shit, here we go again.
Okay, one more.
Do you want an easy one or do you want a hard one?
Hard. Like my throbbing shit.
Okay. That one might be a little too easy. Okay, who took over the role of Bruce Wayne's love interest, Rachel Dawes, in The Dark Knight following Katie Holmes' exit?
Oh no, I know this! Oh no! I don't remember her name!
Would it help if I maybe kind of gave a hint as to who she's related to?
Yeah.
The star of films such as Enemy, Prisoners. I don't want to say the name because it'll give away half the name. Enemy, Prisoners, Donnie Darko.
Oh, is it Maggie Gyllenhaal?
That's Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I can see her face, but for whatever reason.
And one more. What is the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time?
Is it Deadpool right now?
No, but it's you're not. I mean,
Deadpool 2? No.
You're not too far off in the realm of this genre that you're thinking. It's a movie that
I was just
really popular. Got really, really popular. Neither you or I were huge fans of it.
Alvin and the Chipmunks 4.
No.
What is it?
Joker.
That's right. Oh, that's cringe.
A lot of people went and saw it. Oh, this turns.
Yo. All right, let's do it.
Superman.
Was this the only one that was scored by John Williams?
I don't know. Probably.
The score in this is fantastic.
It is. I think the main theme, well, I won't say it's too close to a Star Wars song. I definitely thought, because I watched a lot of movies as a kid, so I have a lot of dormant movie themes just kind of in the back of my subconscious. And when I was hearing this, I was like, oh fuck, I could have sworn this theme was from Star Wars, but here it is in a Superman movie. Which makes sense because Superman's from 78?
78?
And New Hope was 77?
Yep.
Yeah, so they were very close together.
And
you can kind of even see the fucking inspiration in the title sequence, even though it's not like full on like the text scroll from Star Wars. You got like the space with the special font and the John Williams theme. So it was definitely evoking some of that Star Wars energy there.
It looks like this was the only score he did. And then I think the scores for stuff. Yeah. But I think the score in general for the other movies is just like pretty bad. Besides like the main theme.
Yeah. No, the theme for the first one was, or the score for the first one was pretty good. Yeah. I like it. I like John Williams' music. It reminds me a lot of like, at least in this movie, reminded me a lot of like Pokemon music with kind of like how dramatic it can get.
I get it.
Like there are several points where I'm like, yeah, this would like seamlessly blend into a Pokemon game. Because I think of like, I don't know, I'm not gonna like fucking think, I'd have to like fucking think of a theme and go deep into the bowels of my mind, which I don't want to do. But yeah, so this is basically just like the ultimate 2.5 hour origin story.
Yeah, like, and apparently a lot of people don't like the first like hour of this movie.
Really?
Or they just think that the movie feels extremely long because of it, but I don't know, maybe
I feel like
it's fine. I was just like,
yeah, no, honestly, if anything, I think maybe the last part of it might be the weakest. I don't necessarily think it's like terrible, but I could maybe see a point to that. But no, I really like this, at least from like a structure standpoint. Maybe the film is a little long, but personally, I don't mind it. I feel like it really paid off because it's like, you feel like you have a certain level of build up with Clark in this one. And it's really nice. And it's nice to see him just being the nice boy. Yeah.
That's what I like about Super. He's just a nice guy.
He really is. Like, he's just genuinely like a good-hearted guy who wants to help people. And it's not like some weird fucking messianic prophecy like it is in the fucking Zack Snyder movies.
I'm God.
Also, like, the fact that, like, his... like fucking what's Superman's dad name?
Jor-El.
No, not Jor-El. John? Isn't it?
Oh, Jonathan Kent, yeah.
Yeah. His human dad.
Yeah.
But like in Man of Steel, his like John's like, you should never like you should have let those kids die. You shouldn't help people. Your powers are not. He does, because there's the scene where he's like, what do you think I should have done? Let him die, and his dad's at the truck, and he's like, maybe. And it's just like, that is so anti everything that not only Superman, but Jonathan Kent stands for. Like, Jonathan Kent...
Why are you going to do that?
Like, Jonathan Kent in the Man of Steel comics, I'm just going to refer to that real quick. Like, in that comic, which takes a lot from this movie, too. Like, you can tell it's kind of running with some influence from this one. But, like, he goes to a football game, and he sees... Because Kent's, like... instead of being like a fucking water boy like he is in this movie, or the towel manager, whatever that position is called, he's the star of like the football team, and the coach is like, I'm gonna send you, your boy's gonna be famous, I'm gonna send him to college. And like Jonathan Kent like looks over at the fucking bench and sees like every single other player just like, oh fucking, I hate that guy. And he's like, then he takes Clark out afterwards. He's like, hey Clark, you know, I don't think that you should use your powers in this kind of sense. I think that if you use your powers, you should use them to help people.
Yeah.
And that is the core that is missing from the Zack Snyder Superman.
It's like if Uncle Ben was just like, with great power comes a whole lot of money.
Exactly. Oh, man. And it's just like, what? But, yeah, so I really like that these films... I'm going to stick to this film in particular, just with this statement. This film, I feel like, really understands at least the core value of Superman.
Yeah.
And I think that takes this movie a long way in terms of, like, Superman adaptations.
I feel it. Like, this definitely... I love, like, the hokiness of it. Like,
it's super schlocky.
It's super schlocky, but it, like, knows
fun.
that.
Yeah.
Something that Zack Snyder apparently forgot about, which is fine, but it's just like, It's just, there's a lot of heart that's missing from Man of Steel. Because it looks like he pulled out the corniness and the cheesiness and the schlockiness and then just didn't put anything there.
Exactly.
So it's just a hole.
And it's like, you can have, like, good storytelling with schlock. Like, schlock is nothing but just, like, extra spice, you know?
Yeah.
Makes stuff good. Like, that's why I like the Spider-Man Sam Raimi trilogy so much.
Yeah.
They're schlocky as
and he
all
knows
fucking
because
hell.
he wants them to be similar, like the 60s Spider-Man. He wants them. It's the same thing. It's like, say what you will about Bryan Singer. He's an asshole. But, like, he's the worst. But he knew that, like, the X trilogy and Superman Returns, he did the same thing that Sam Raimi did to a lesser extent. I don't think he did it as well, but he was trying to do the same thing at least.
Yeah, and I've got some comments on Bryan's Singer beyond the obvious once we get to that one, because he spoke, because I was going through some like supplementary material, not like on the special features, but just like in general, just kind of looking up like things about Superman Returns after that. And I've got some things to add on to that.
I didn't realize this, but I found out that Brandon Routh, the guy who played him, he was on the Crisis on Infinite.
Yeah.
And like, I've heard most of the CW shows are pretty ass, but I probably am going to watch that. Like,
no, I really want to.
Or whatever.
Jumping ahead a bit here, without giving away my thoughts on Superman Returns as a whole, I will say this isolated comment. I think Brandon Routh was a good Superman.
Yeah, and he looks so similar to Christopher Reeves.
He does.
I'm just like, holy shit. Like, it seems like they got him solely because he looks like the part, but he embodied the same type of character.
And it's really sad because the movie flopped and he kind of just went into stasis for years.
I was reading an article from
he had like
last
a
year.
big.
I was playing WoW.
Yeah, he had a big like ego battle with himself because he thought like he's like, I was Superman, I kind of like deserve these roles, but he kind of had like this little ego death where you realize he's like, no, like I'm not. I need to try just like everyone else. I shouldn't be gifted it on a silver platter, and I really respect that because as someone who did like a lot of theater growing up, I kind of went through a similar kind of arc.
You were like the Superman.
I had a little bit of an ego.
You still do, because you're like, I'm one half of Screen.
Yeah,
I'm on screen. I worked in Domino.
No, I'm a lot more. Like, I still have an ego, clearly. Like, I think everybody does, but I try to be a lot more conscientious of it. No, except for you, one. You don't have an ego.
No, I was going to say you don't have an ego at all, ever.
Oh, okay. I'm just a shell. I'm just like,
you're just a humble monk.
Don't. Not real. I don't know what a person without an ego would say. But
so Superman, it's a really simple story. The first like hour is just like an origin, pretty much, of like growing up, like as a kid, and then he moves to Metropolis, meets everyone. And then Lex Luthor is like, I'm Lex Luthor. I'm Gene Hackman. He's really, I really like
he's a different brand of Lex Luthor, but I like.
He's like just evil. He's not like, because a lot of the Lex Luthors are like, I'm trying to do good for humanity, but also get money.
Yeah,
and I hate aliens.
Like someone who's kind of views himself as an anti-hero, even though he probably leans more in the villainous direction.
This one's just like, I'm evil!
Yeah, he's just like, fuck it. I'm the world's greatest mastermind, and I'm gonna make people know it. Starting with that stupid super guy over there, who I think I can take care of, and then, God, I love the scene where he's just like in his fucking lair, and he surrounds himself with like the two dopey characters who aren't very smart.
Yeah.
And like the one who's like beyond just like brain dead. Like the guy is a potato.
He's like, hey, Mr. Luthor!
Yeah, and the fucking like metal door just starts punching and he's like, I think he's here! And it's like, thank you, I know. But, yeah, so like, yeah, he's got a big plot. He wants to like fucking nuke the fault line on the fucking West Coast so he can, because he like owns a certain stretch of desert and he wants to make it a coastal area. It's just
people that have like, I was reading some reviews for Superman Returns. They're like, Lex Luthor's so like, why would he be doing this? I'm like, Like, I understand it, but yeah, I'm like, I understand what you're saying if you're viewing this as its own movie, but you have to view this as like a sequel to. It's the same Lex Luthor. It's like, I'm fucking stupid. Like, yeah. I'm doing the stupidest shit I can think of.
Oh man, but yeah. So basically, that happens, and like the whole backdrop of the movie, like the basic core of the movie. Beyond the intro where we see him in Smallville is where he goes to Metropolis, starts working for the Daily Planet, gets the hots for Lois Lane, who is played by Margot Kidder in these movies. And I don't think she's like my favorite interpretation of Lois Lane, but I think she brings a lot of character.
I think in the first two at the very least.
Yeah, the first two. In 3 and 4, she's fucking just a hollow.
Yeah,
just,
3, she's in the movie for like 3 minutes.
I'm going on vacation.
I'm going on vacation.
And then the 4th one, she's just back, and it's like, wow, I've seen all this in like the first one before she had her mind erased. Which, spoiler.
Did they show that?
Yeah, so, okay.
I don't think they showed it in the theatrical cut.
They do.
They do? Of 2?
Yeah, I will explain it once we get
because I know, like, how it works. I just don't remember it. I'm like, I just...
Because they do it differently in the Donner cut, how they get to that point. And I'll kind of break down some of the differences between the theatrical and the Donner cut once we get to 2.
Okay.
But, yeah, so basically, this movie... You know, Lex basically wins, like because he sends like nukes in 2 different directions, and Superman has to take care of one heading to Nevada because he never breaks a lie.
Yeah, and they promise the other henchman,
one of Lex's henchmen, who is like kind of on. She's like, "This is fun." Oh wait,
people are getting hurt. Oh God, my sister,
my mom lives in Vegas.
My aunt suddenly,
and she's like, "You said that you never lie, so you have to." Go stop that Nevada nuke first. And he's just like,
okay.
Why did you kiss me?
But then Lois Lane dies.
Yeah, Lois Lane dies as a result because he takes too much time just kind of putting mountains and shit back together. And he's like, bah! And he just fucking does the spin thing where he spins the world backwards, which... He can't do in any of the comics, as far as I know. These movies have
a lot of like
a tendency to make up power.
And I'm like, Superman already has so many powers.
There's one in every movie. I don't know if there's one in 3, but something weird kind of happens.
Oh yeah,
it's like that's kind of a power, I guess. But yeah, so that's kind of the power that they pull out of their ass for this one. So he gets really angry and he spins around the earth and spins it backwards. So time goes backwards, and then he spins it kind of forwards again to get it spinning in the right direction. And he goes down and he saves Lois Lane. She's like, "Oh man, I avoided power pulls and shit, and you should have been here sooner." And he's like,
"My bad."
Oh well.
He should have just went, "You're right," and then spun it back some more.
But yeah, so
and then Lex Luthor's arrested.
Yeah, he just straight up picks him up and just carries him and his henchmen like just straight to jail. No due process. He's just like straight into prison. And everyone's like, "Thanks, Superman." And he's like, "Of course." Which they never address it in these movies, but I like that like Superman Returns kind of addressed that. It's like Superman needs to like be involved somewhat in the legal process because he wasn't there to testify against Lex Luthor. So like, I guess all the evidence they had against him went out the window. So they were just like, he's free. But yeah, so that happens. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the movie. Yeah. He like flies into the sky or something.
Did you do that at the end of every movie?
I think so. I think that's like the big staple.
I was a little worried about some of these, but at the very least, I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, spoiler alert: the first one is my favorite out of
the 5.
Out of all 5 of them that I watched. But yeah, I guess you want to. Oh, hold on. There's one scene I want to address that I did not appreciate, and that is there's this scene where Superman's flying around the city and he sees this little girl standing there. She's got a cat stuck in a tree. And Superman's like, I'm going to be a nice guy. I'm going to go get that cat out of that tree for her. And she like goes inside afterwards. And she's like, Mom, Superman's the guy flying sky. Save my cat. And she's like, and that's how the scene ends. I'm like,
I forgot about
I was like, why? That was such a wholesome scene, and then they just ended it on that note. I was like, what the fuck?
Holy shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was just like, And I don't know if this is like from a parody, but I swear, I remember a scene where it's Superman running next to the train, like he does in the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember there being a kid looking out and being like, Mom, there's a person running by the train. Which that happens. Like, someone's like, sees it. But I remember there being like a line where it's like, they look out the window, they don't see him anymore because he clearly like surpassed the train's speed. And they're like, that's it, you're not getting a birthday party this year.
I don't remember that part.
No, that wasn't in it.
Okay.
And I'm like, but I remember...
That's the birthday party cut of the Superman one.
I don't know if it's like I watched like maybe that's like a Family Guy parody that happened at some point,
Classic
or if it's
Family Guy.
I don't know where it's from, but I swear that's from somewhere. If anyone in the comments, Pierre, if you know,
that's it. You're not getting a birthday.
Let me know where that's from. I might look it up because I swear there's a scene somewhere in some movie where something strange is going on next to a train. And a kid says that, and a mom replies like that.
You're not getting a birthday.
Is it Harry Potter? No, it wouldn't be Harry Potter. I'm thinking it would be like Chamber of Secrets when they're like flying the car next to it, and they're like, woo! And everyone's like, oh, the Muggles saw you.
Oh, the Muggles. I don't know.
But anyway, Superman 2.
Do you want to say what you...
Oh, yeah.
What?
You would give it a 7?
Yes. You would give it a 7?
Yes. Okay, Superman 2. I thought I was going to like this one the most.
The first half sucks!
It does. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to say the whole movie sucks. There are nuggets that I like about this movie. But, man, this used to be my favorite as a kid.
I get why.
Yeah.
General Zod's, like, at least, I think it's Terrence Stamp. I think that's his name.
Yeah.
What
do you mean?
That
was Doug Walker.
What?
Do you not remember the whole... That's the fucking character plays into Boldly Flee. When him, Lindsay, and Kyle do the fucking karaoke scene, they're playing these 3 characters. And then Kyle comes in and sings a note, and he's like, wait a minute, you don't talk!
That's the Supreme Chancellor in Star Wars Episode 1. Terrence Stamp. The guy who plays Zod. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. He didn't do the voice in the first one, but he starts doing this voice for the second one. Or at least if he did it in the first one. For Zod.
Yeah.
Because, like, in the first one, he seemed like he was talking like a normal guy. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe it was there and I just didn't pick up on it because he's only in one scene in the first one. Because, basically, there's a scene in the first one where it starts off on Krypton and Marlon Brando basically is like,
I'm putting you in a piece of paper, space paper.
I love that. I don't know what it is about it.
We didn't really talk about it, but that whole opening scene was fantastic. Yeah.
And
then they're in their aluminum foil clothes after that.
Yeah. They're like, what planet are you from? Planet Houston. But I kind of like I don't mind the first half of this movie.
Everything pertaining to, like, the first half with General Zod, like, talking to people is fine, I think, but just, like, a lot of the Superman stuff and Lois Lane, like, I didn't think it was...
I didn't mind the Paris bomb scene. Like, I thought that was fine, like the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't anything, like, mind-blowing, but I thought it was, like, a fun little schlocky opening set piece, and the Donner cut doesn't have that at all in it. That was something that was added in the theatrical cut. The Donner cut, so the big plot line of this movie I guess is aside from like Zod and the other two, I don't remember their fucking names. I'm so sorry. But the Kryptonian trio, aside from them showing up on Earth and like teaming up with Lex Luthor.
He was pretty great in this movie.
Yeah, he's
what? You can't. I'm Lex Luthor.
Yeah, no, he's fun because he carries that ego about himself, but he's just a total fucking earthworm in this movie. I even love Superman breaks his own logic at the end because spoiler alert. Superman has this chamber that can remove his powers, and he kind of inverts it. So if he steps into the chamber, it would. I hate the whole chamber plot. I don't think the plot is well built up to at all. Yeah. It comes out of nowhere. It goes away out of nowhere, and then it just works itself into the resolution of the movie. Especially in the theatrical cut. I'm just like, what's happening? What? It's maybe a smidge better in the Donner cut, but not enough to actually make it good. So basically that's Superman's like, all right, Lex, they've kind of cornered me here. If you can trick them and get them into this chamber here, it'll erase their powers. And Lex, being the opportunist he is, he's like, hey guys, Superman just told me that this chamber will remove his powers if he steps inside of it. And Superman's like, Lex, you fucking snake, you. How dare you? And then fucking they're like, oh yes, of course, Superman, step inside. And he does, and then it turns out he inverted it, and then they lose his powers. And I do like the kneel scene where Superman kneels and it just grabs Zod fist, and he's like, Zod's like, oh! He's like, oh! And then he just picks him up and just fucking tosses him down. Which, I'll criticize Man of Steel all day. There are certain things I won't criticize it for that a lot of people do, which is Superman killing people. Superman, usually he won't, but if he's backed into a corner, he will kill someone. He's not Batman.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not... even when I saw Man of Steel and people were criticizing, I'm like, I don't remember that ever being a major element. A lot of people also criticize the... what's the fucking term for it? When... I'm blanking, I'm having a brain fart. Brands. When marketing, when they... Oh, yeah. So promotion, when they have Coke signs and shit. Oh yeah. A lot of people... That happens a lot in this movie. That happens a lot in this movie, and a lot of people were criticizing it for being a Man of Steel, and it's just it's not different from the older ones in that regard. A lot of 2000 superhero. I remember the Fantastic Four movie from 2000. That had so much of it. But
the other thing is property damage, or the destruction of the city, which I will say Man of Steel definitely cranks it way up. Just they crashed a giant fucking ship into it. And Superman in these movies tends to make an effort to try his best to prevent any sort of damage. He runs away eventually to get them to the fortress. Yeah. And everyone's like, what the fuck? Superman, why are you flying away? And that was right after they did their own, you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. I know. And then they just start... In the theatrical cut, this isn't in the Donner cut, there's a dude with an ice cream cone, and it just right into some dude's face. I will say, I died. I did not see that coming. I think that entire sequence of them blowing for it felt like 3 minutes. I thought was pretty hilarious. Yeah, no, I like it. It was probably my favorite part of the movie because it just kept going. Yeah, and it just kept getting bigger, and it was really weird because people would be like, "Oh, I can make it," but then they'd see cars flying past. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. What's going on? And then Superman just gets up and he's like, "Unbelievable." But fucking, what's it called? So yeah, basically, what is it? Lois Lane kind of figures out he's Superman. And in the Donner cut, instead of having the opening heist sequence, there's a sequence where she's just in the Daily Planet. It's called the Daily Bugle. But she's at the Daily Planet, and she's got a fucking newspaper that has a up close shot of Superman, he's doing a fucking promotional thing. She looks at Clark. She looks at Superman. She takes a pen, draws on the glasses, and then she's like, "Oh shit!" And then she goes up, and they're in the boss's office, and she's like, "You're Superman." He's like, "Lois, I don't know what you're talking about." And she's like, "I'm willing to stake my life on it." and she like fucking just jumps out the window. And Superman, he's like, God, I can't like give myself away, but I gotta like go save her. Like he doesn't. This happens twice in this version because they have the Niagara Falls scene in that movie too. But basically here, he just runs outside and he just starts blowing to kind of slow her down a little bit, her fall. And then he's like, that's not really working. So he like kind of props up one of those like fucking like little rain guards that pop out. That's basically kind of like an umbrella that you'll see on a lot of like skyscrapers. And he's like, that's probably not going to work. And there's like a fruit stand underneath it. So he's just like, so he kind of positions the fruit stand so she lands into that. And she's like covered in watermelon juice and like gunk. And then like runs back up to the top of the building, looks out the window. And he's like, geez, Lois, are you okay? And then like someone comes into the office and he's like, where's Lane? And he's like, she stepped out for a minute. But yeah, so that basically
there's two of those scenes in the daughter cut.
Yeah, so there's that scene and then they do the Niagara Falls scene later because she basically like during the course of the hotel room because she's basically like suspicious, but she kind of has it cemented over when she landed in the fruit stand. She's like, I don't know. And then and the Donner cut, she's like, no, this is still too suspicious. Like Superman probably could have like fucked around earlier and hit it so I fell without actually dying.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it plays out like it does in that movie. And then yeah, so they're like, he reveals himself to her because she figures it out twice. And he's like, let me take you to my fortress of solitude. So he takes her there, and they're isolated from the rest of the world. They don't see that Zod's invading. Superman can't, like, fucking hear anything.
Yeah, and I'm like, that was, like, the thing in the first one. He's like, I can hear everything. You know, what?
It's like, I get, like, I'm not necessarily a big subscriber to the idea that Superman can, like, hear, like, everything on Earth or anything, but he should at least be able to hear, like, a general loud commotion, like, big explosions and shit. Like, I don't know. But anyway, so he's just like, so he's gone on this romantic weekend where at the end of it, he's just like, I think, because...
I'm done with this.
Yeah, because basically the hologram of his parents tells him, you can't be Kryptonian and be with a human.
It's like, why?
He doesn't ask why. He's just like, okay, how do I get rid of my powers? And it's like,
what?
Well, like, what do you mean? Like, I can maybe see it from like a reproduction standpoint because everyone likes to make the joke that like Superman spurting his load would be like fucking emptying the clock. Like, but I mean,
she died.
Yeah.
Spider-Man kills someone with radioactive semen. Superman kills somebody by shooting them through the head with his semen.
That was always like my canon for that scene in Hancock where the lady like leaves his house and he's just like, I'm sad and lonely. But anyway, so fucking what's it called? He's like, all right, I'll give away my powers without even a fucking second thought. In the Donner cut, to be fair, Marlon Brando's character kind of goes in. He's like, all right, this is kind of selfish, don't you think? Like, are you sure you want to give up like your mission, your objective for this? Yeah. And of course, Superman's like, yeah, like I've done so much for them. I should be able to have this for myself. And it's like, true, but with great power comes great responsibility, you know? At least if you're fucking Superman, you know, sentient powers of God, you shouldn't give up your powers. He's like, what's the worst that could happen?
Then he gets beat up by a
Doesn't think about the 3 Kryptonians that he knows are out there. Oh, also a difference between the Donner version and the theatrical version is instead of it being the bomb that he sent up from the Eiffel Tower that awakens them, it's the nuke from the first movie that he launched into space.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of like makes it more of a through line there. But yeah, so basically, yeah, Zod basically at this point has already fucking taken over the world according to the US president. He's like, the US president, I grant you complete power over the world. And it's like,
everyone else has already agreed to this off camera.
It's like, I hope so. I hope you're not just calling the shots.
Well, he says that. He says,
oh, did he?
Me and everyone else I've talked to say it's okay.
I figured that was just like the House and the Senate or something. But Given how...
I wanted to say he said other countries, but
he might have. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, Superman at this point is human, and he's getting into a bar fight with a guy. Or it's not a bar, it's like a diner.
Yeah.
Little truck stop.
And I'm just like, this gets more and more unbelievable as the things go on. I'm like, he's still 6'4". He's still like a huge dude. He's just human. Like, what?
Yeah, it's like, you're, like, regardless of like your Kryptonian DNA, you are a tall farmer.
Literally.
Like, you should... I mean, I get maybe if at first he's like, oh, it takes a couple hits. He's like, oh, shit, I'm not used to this,
or like
nerf.
I understand the fact that, like, oh, I've been only operating like 1% of capacity with my power to, like, hit people so I don't kill them. But it's just like, your body is jacked.
Yeah.
It shouldn't, like, phase you as much.
Yeah, but
and it's in the third one, I think. He goes back to small, and everyone's like, they're still like bullying. I'm like, he's jacked. They're like bullying him, or they're like just kind of being rude. I'm like, why?
Yeah, but so Superman, while he's at this bar, after he gets the shit beat out of him, like, holy fuck. He looks fucked up. He watches the TV and sees the president giving power to Zod, and he's like,
I gotta go back.
And then in the theatrical cut,
he just walks into the snow,
comes back,
and then he comes back later.
Yeah, but in the Donner cut, we see that, like, basically the Fortress of Solitude got fucked after he transferred his power. It's like dying. That green crystal he left behind starts glowing, and he kind of goes up to it, and it forms, like, the spiritual essence of his father. And his father's like, all right, this is, like, the last chance.
This is your last chance, son.
And basically then he, like, takes his life essence and, like, imports it into Superman. That's what gives him his power. And that's where the line where it's like, the father becomes the son becomes the father, that comes in. And he's all super fucking man again. He's jacked. He's ready to go. And then he's like, goes and fights them in the city for a little bit, does the flyaway. Lex Luthor is teamed up with them, kind of.
Yeah. And then
they become the king of Australia, Cuba.
Do they die? They die, right?
Oh, yeah, no, they kill all three of them.
They just they push him into a hole.
Yeah, he pushes Zod into the hole. The big dumb one tries to fly and just falls in, and then Lois punches the other one in the face, and she falls into the hole too. And then she's like, you know what? You're a pain in the neck. Pop. And then, also, just on a side note here, I love that for whatever reason in this movie, Lois Lane is, like, obsessed with drinking orange juice freshly squeezed and eating hot dogs. Like, that's her thing in this movie, which I think is kind of funny. I think it's a funny little, just, like, I don't know, little tidbit of information that you could be like, future references, like, I'll be like, oh, Lois Lane loves freshly squeezed orange juice and hot dogs. And just kind of diner food in general, because it might be the Donner cut where this happened. I don't know what point this happened, but I remember a scene in one of them where Lois Lane's like, you know what you could do, Clark? And he's like, what? And she's like, you can go get me a pizza. He's like, it's like 9 in the morning. She's like, you can go get us a pizza. He's like, oh, all right, I'll go get the fucking pizza. So I don't know. I like little stuff like that. I feel like it kind of fleshes out a character and makes her feel more unique.
And then he erases her memory.
Oh, yes. So the memory.
I don't remember this at all. I don't know why.
So basically, after the whole, like, thing happens and he's adhering to his ghost father's authority.
But he still hasn't asked why.
Yeah, it's... I guess it can't be. Yeah.
Can't beat my ghost dad.
Man, fucking... It reminds Superman to never, like, be in fucking Romeo and Juliet or anything. Heaven forbid your parents forbid you to be with someone. But, so he's just like, yeah, you know, maybe we shouldn't, you know. And she's like, well, yeah, we shouldn't. And she's super heartbroken about it. And then, like, he parts ways with her. And the next day at work, she's basically like, I'm such a fucking wreck. I I can't even process this shit. Like, I know what no one else knows, and it's like fucking just weighing on my shoulders. And he like basically pulls her in for a kiss. And then when the kiss is happening, you hear this little music cue that's like, and then she like gets out of the kiss, and she's like,
now I remember, yeah.
Her mind was erased. He has mind erasing kisses. The ass pull superpower they came up with for this movie, which I think is.
Does he do that in the comics?
No.
Oh, okay.
As far as I know, he does.
He pulls off his ass.
That too.
Which fruit roll up. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a loop. It's like fucking foil or not foil. It's like what saran wrap or something. It's just like what. But yeah, I will say the kiss is funny just simply for the fact that it resulted in one of my favorite Robot Chicken sketches, where basically Superman's like fighting Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor's like, "I'll never forget what you did to my precious hairline." Superman's like, "Wait a minute." He just starts going around and he kisses all of his villains. He's like, I just make them forget why they hate me. And he just goes around and it gets to the point where it's like Darkseid's like in bed and he looks up and Superman's just floating down from the ceiling with his arms wide. He's like, oh, what? Oh! And just smooches him and it's like, oh. And then Superman's like, oh man, why don't I do this more often? And he like gets back to the Fortress of Solitude where they're all waiting there with flowers. He's like, oh yeah, of course. So yeah, that's what I like about that power. It's the only thing I like about that power is that sketch. Otherwise, I think it's so stupid. In the Donner cut, instead of the kiss, he's just like, okay, and does the fucking Earth spin again? He rewinds time again.
Like all the way back?
He goes like so far back. I can't remember.
Will that revive Zod?
Yeah, but he takes care of it faster and more efficient this time.
Okay.
But yeah.
Why doesn't he just do that at every point?
Well, see, that's the question.
Every minor inconvenience. I'll just turn back time real quick.
Just like Lois Lane, like that day when he walks into work at the beginning of the movie, he's just like, oh, fuck, hold on. Like the second she's like, you're Superman, he's like,
and then he shoots her in the head.
He just like goes to her office before she gets there and just throws away all of her pens.
He comes into work that day with sunglasses or something.
Yeah. She's like
too confused.
But yeah.
He starts wearing a funny hat.
Yeah, I think Superman 2 has a lot of like decent moments sprinkled in there. Like I get entertainment out of watching the movie. I'll probably watch it again in the future. But it just...
Is the Donner cut better? Is it worse?
I'd say it makes a little more sense in certain areas, but I'd say for the most part, I think I enjoy a lot of the stuff they added into the theatrical cut.
Okay.
Like the fucking Eiffel Tower scene and the ice cream hitting that guy's face.
Classic scene.
But yeah. They're not like super far apart. They're both like equally as kind of meh.
Yeah, I did not really like this one. I like a lot of the later hat. That's a phone charger.
I thought it might have been.
No. Do you have a micro USB?
No.
What is that?
It's an iPhone.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Why'd you get an iPhone?
I've always had an iPhone.
You've always had an iPhone? Why?
It's just what I have. I'm too...
You can get a different... You just said you got a new phone. You could have gotten a different phone.
I know. There's a reason why I got an iPhone. It's because I don't know what the fuck I'd be doing if I got an... I don't know how to navigate. I'm like...
It's not that hard.
I don't know what, like, the new Samsung is. I hear, like, some of the older ones have security issues, and I have no idea where that starts.
Explode in my pocket.
Yeah, exactly. The worst I have to deal with this one is it has no headphone jack.
It has no headphone jack?
I have a converter.
Yeah, but how are you going to charge your phone?
I think it might. I don't know. I just got it, so I haven't tried it yet, but I think it might charge.
You got it today?
I programmed it yesterday. I've had it for a while. I was waiting for the case to show up. I didn't want to break my phone. I broke my last phone.
Anyway, yeah, Superman 2 is not great. You would give this a 5.
Yeah. You would give this a
4? Yes.
Okay.
I would indeed. But at least it's better than fucking Superman 3.
Okay, I'm going to address the elephant in the room on this one.
This is not a Superman movie.
So, I think, as a fan of Superman, I am willing to admit that Superman is kind of the saltine cracker of superheroes. It is very white culture.
Yeah.
Very throwback to the 1940s with these movies, obviously the time period when Superman was written. And I think it's great that we finally get some form of representation in this movie from Richard Pryor, who is a comedian I like. But I just don't like that, like, the one prominent black character in the Superman movies is, like, the world's biggest idiot, minus the fact that he's a coding
like
genius.
a savant in a coding. Yeah, no, he's like constantly manipulated, and he's like villainized. It's just like, why? Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. So I just wanted to address that because it's the clear fucking just big blotch in the middle of the page on this one.
And as much as I hated this movie, which I hated it, Richard Pryor really tries.
Like Richard Pryor's got some funny bits in it. Like I like the fact that he codes, but it's just like he's playing like an old type adventure game.
Yeah,
he's like,
just like,
do this.
Please do this. And the computer's just like, okay.
And then everyone's like, you're a fucking computer coding genius.
It's just like, but that has nothing to do with any of the Superman stuff in it. And it's just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like the movie opens with him. I'm just like, what's happening?
Yeah, him in a welfare line, by the way.
Yeah, that's another.
But anyway. So yeah, the basic plot of this movie is Richard Pryor. I don't know his character's name.
August Gorman, and then he's nicknamed Gus Gorman. And I'm like, wait, is Gus a shortened version of August? Because I did not think that.
I guess I could see that. I've never comprehended that before.
But yeah, Gus Gorman, he gets a job at a computer place and is really good. Yeah, and then he steals all the money.
Yeah, he figures out how to steal all like the half cents and shit, and then his boss.
And I'm like, what am I watching? Office Space?
Yeah,
What's happening?
Exactly.
Because isn't that exactly what they do in Office Space?
It is.
Is Office Space based on Superman 3?
It might be, honestly. But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like, let's say the main character of Office Space, I can't remember the actor's name, but he's kind of like chiseled. Like, he could be a Superman-esque character, and you get into it. He's a good... I don't want to say he's a good guy at the start of the film, but he kind of goes through that, like, stage where he's like, I don't give a fuck. Superman goes evil, and I don't give a fuck in this movie. And then he has the moment where he kind of, like, snaps. He's like, no, I'm good again, and I have to fix my problem. And then just fire. I don't know.
Fire. Yeah, so I don't even want to talk about this movie very much, but Gus Gorman, he takes all the money, and then his boss is just like, this guy's a computer whiz. I won't send him into jail because he instead can make me a lot of money by doing a bunch of illegal shit that somehow the computers can do.
They hack into like a weather satellite, which can, I guess, manipulate the weather in real life. And so he does that.
That's scary.
And something that cannot happen even now.
And it's just like, oh god, okay. But he does that, and it eventually gets to the point where, like, oh god, I forgot about the fucking subplot where, like, so Lois Lane at the very beginning of this movie goes on vacation. She's like, I want a vacation. Bye. So she's gone for...
And Clark fucking goes back to Smallville.
He goes back to Smallville where he kind of reunites with like his old...
Lana Lang, who was in Superman 1 for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. And she's played by... I don't know the actor's name, but she's older Beverly Marsh in the original It miniseries.
Oh, okay.
I watched that movie a lot as a kid, so I was like, oh, fuck, cool, great. So yeah, I that was kind of nice to see her in something, but she's basically like, I hate Smallville, I want to move to Metropolis, and Superman's like, I can I can help you out. Or not Superman. Well, kind of Superman. It's Clark is like, I can kind of help you out with that. By the way, I'm like super tight with Superman. I can get him to come to your kid's birthday party, which I think is super out of character for Clark. I don't, as much as I think
he's too horny in this movie.
He is. As much as I think Clark would love to attend like the birthday party of every Superman fan on Earth, I think he acknowledges, like, it's kind of like, you know, you got to share with the whole
nepotism.
Exactly. But he does.
And also, in general, why is he trying to get with her if he knows he can't? Like, it disregards the entire plot of Superman 2.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's made by the same guy who made Superman 2, or at least came in after Richard Donner. So I'm just like, you know the drill. What are you doing?
Yeah. And so, I guess he wasn't there when they filmed all that shit. He
never watched it.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, just let the editors do their thing. I don't know, we'll figure it out. The producers will sort it out. But, so he goes and, like, attends this kid's birthday party, and while he's there, Gus presents him with, basically, they try to figure out, like, the composition of what's in kryptonite.
But they can't.
It's like 50% of it.
Or...
I thought it was 50.
Oh, I thought it was 5.
It might have been. There's a big...
I thought it was just a little bit they couldn't figure out.
Oh, it seemed like they had, like, figured out half, and the other half is just like, oh, we don't fucking know. It's not maybe on the fucking table.
But he puts tar in it.
Yeah, he's just like, tar. There we go. They're paying me the big bucks. And then he gives it to Superman. And Superman's like, thanks, I guess. And he just holds on to it, and we never see it again. He never destroys it or gets rid of it.
So I'm like, what, did he eat it?
And he just stored it.
Is he still wearing it? But it poisons his mind, makes him a regular guy.
Yeah, it makes him, like, I guess, he seems evil. He's basically like, he goes around, like, there's this woman who kind of, like, calls out to him in the night on the Statue of Liberty. She's one of the bad guys, but he basically, like, shows up and it's like, if you think I'm going to save you, I don't do that stuff.
I'm done with those days. And she's like, you want to see my breasts? And he's like, oh.
Yeah. I think my favorite scene of this movie is where he's at the bar. He's just shooting peanuts at shot glasses and breaking them. Everyone's like,
you're like, what? Can you stop it? And then he won't. And they're like backing away.
Yeah, the bar's like, people at the bar are like, no, just leave him be.
And that was right before he, like, turns back to normal.
Yeah, he just,
like, leaves, and then there's Lana Lang and, I think, Jimmy? Was that his name?
Jimmy
like,
Billy.
I know this is you, Superman. You're just in a rut. You're just in a slump. You're gonna get out of that, Superman. I know you so well. We're best friends. You came to my birthday party. Do you remember me? You came to my birthday party. And Superman's like really far away, and the kid's like, I know you can still hear me, Superman. I know.
And he goes and lands in this dump, and all the people working there are like, run!
Because he just starts screaming.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, and just like,
is this the thing you're talking about? Yeah,
he just separates into two.
Which I guess could just be, like, the internal, like, that's just the internal battle that's happening. But it's just Superman Clark Kent and Superman Kal-El, I guess. But no, it's Superman evil, but they fight. And
they fight. And
it's really bad.
Yeah. I think my favorite part is the end when, like, he thinks, this evil Superman thinks he's won because he sent fucking Clark through the trash compactor. And then Clark just fucking busts out. It's like, of course, he's the fucking Man of Steel. What'd you think? He was gonna come out of cube?
That would have been good. He comes out of cube and then unfolds himself.
Dude, if he comes out of cube and, like, evil Superman just hovers above it, like, and just suddenly just the cube just, like, I don't know why. I just had major flashbacks to that scene from Monsters, Inc. where they think they accidentally kill the little girl. But anyway, so yeah, he fucking beats his evil self, and then he's like, I'm good again. I'm gonna go. I know exactly what's going on because I've been just very careless this entire middle chunk of the movie. So he's like, I'm just gonna go.
So he goes fixes everything.
But fucking Gus has built he came up with the idea for, like, this supercomputer that can fight against anything. It'll find any weakness and just
Yeah.
And so when Superman shows up, it immediately, like, just knows what kryptonite is and just, like, starts blasting with, like, Kryptonian rays.
Yeah, and he's like, oh no! And then, like...
And then Gus has a change of heart because he's like, I don't want to be the bad guy.
Because the whole time he's like...
Because most of the time he didn't want to be a bad guy. He's just like, I don't want to be poor.
He's just kind of an opportunist.
Yeah.
And then, like, Superman shows up and he's like, you're all going to jail. And he's like, no, not me. I'm good. I'm on your side. And he's like, it doesn't really fucking look like it, guy. He's like, you're right. And he basically, like, zip lines down and helps Superman out. And
It
then,
unscrews one thing. But then the computer comes back to life on its own.
and then it starts absorbing people. And, like, it fucking... This scene where, like, the sister gets absorbed into the computer, that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
I bet it was like, it was really out of character for like these movies. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, just the idea of a computer quickly grabbing you, pulling you in, and just stripping you of your entire, like,
Existence.
It's like the fucking Borg from Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh! So it's like, ah! So, but yeah, Superman almost gets pulled in because he basically, like, quickly takes care of the sister in her robot form, and then the computer's like, no, we need you! He's like, ah! And then, I don't, does Gus, like, save him at the last second?
I think so.
I don't even remember what the fuck happened.
By the time, this movie's like 2 hours, but I was just like, oh, I was like banging my head against the wall.
Yeah.
The last like 20 minutes, I was like, please.
This was,
And
I guess, the 5th film I watched, because I went 1, 2, 2, Returns, 3, 4. I almost watched Supergirl, but I didn't get around to it. But
that would have been great. You would have been really happy with that decision.
I'm probably going to watch it this week. But, yeah, so Superman sends rich guy to jail, and he's basically like, you know, Gus, you're pretty cool. I'll just let you slide with a 1 and on this one or whatever. Like, drops him off at that dump that he the fucking split apart at, and Gus is like, I don't want to fly, I don't want to fly, I don't want to fly ever again.
And he's like, you want a job? And he's like, no, but where's the nearest bus station? Like 10 miles away. He's like,
it's like, I'm just gonna, you know, I could fly, but I think I'm gonna walk. And yeah, that's the end of Superman 3. I'm sure Christopher Reeves did the thing where he flies again.
yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, no, I really did not. It took me, I'm going to be honest, I started watching this movie on one of my lunch breaks. I'm just going to, because I had to watch a lot of movies. And I'm like, I'm working every day, so I'll just finish this when I get home. I got home and I'm like, I can't keep watching that movie. So it took me 2 days. I'm like, I'll just watch it tomorrow.
I'm going to be honest here. This is my least favorite. And I think 4 might objectively be a worse film.
No, I would.
At least that one is kind of funny.
Yeah, no, I would.
This one wasn't really in that territory.
Yeah.
Which it has a comedian, it's like
and that's what's like
actor,
so like,
and it's
holy
just like,
yikes.
yeah. So Superman 3, it's no from me. You would give this film a fucking 2, maybe. 1.
It's a 1. You would give this movie a 2. No, I despise. Like, there were occasionally, like, Richard Pryor was like, oh, kind of funny, or Christopher Reeves. I really like Christopher Reeves Superman, so I'm like, oh, maybe he's okay there, but no, it was rough.
But yeah,
Superman 4, however, is also very bad. However, it's 30 minutes shorter.
Yeah, it's the only entry that's 90 minutes.
It's pretty funny at times with how bad it is. And there's the guy from 2.5 Men is in it.
Yeah,
and he's pretty fun. Like, I kind of...
Speaking of which, he plays Lex Luthor in, like, the new CW canon of stuff, which I thought...
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it's very well fitting, but I thought it was like, oh, that's a cute little tribute. Because I was watching, like, some, like, because I didn't watch the Brandon Routh Superman Infinite, or, like, Crisis.
Infinite Earths, yeah.
Yeah, but I watched the, like, some of the, just, like, trailers for it, and I saw that there was a bald Alan from 2.5 Men.
Is it the same character? Like, is it his...
No.
It's not, okay. It's just Lex Luthor.
As far as I know, he plays Lex Luthor in, like, the Supergirl TV series.
Oh.
And, like, in that canon. And they're doing a new series with Superman for the CW that has, like, the other actor. And apparently from what I hear, everyone's, like... Because there was, like, a brief moment where it was rumored that Brandon Routh was going to get his own Crisis on Infinite Earths, like, mini-series. Yeah.
Which are they bringing back Tom Welling or whatever, the guy from Smallville?
Oh, what?
Are they bringing... No, that's what I'm asking.
No. Pierre.
Are you guys talking about Superman 4?
Yeah. We're about to.
You want to talk about Superman 4?
I love Superman 4.
Okay. Pierre's here. I didn't know Pierre was here. Scoot closer to Thomas. You gotta be on the camera.
Should I?
Push that back a little bit. Put the mic...
I heard you guys talk about Superman 4 from across the street.
You have that Superman here.
Now everyone can see the cardboard box we used to record.
Yeah. Can you see both of us fine?
Yeah, it's a little weird, but it's fine. Yeah, we're talking about Superman 4.
Yeah, but basically from what I hear, everyone's like not very hot on the actual Superman actor that they're giving the series to, but everyone was just like, fuck, we want more Brandon Routh.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got 2 more movies to talk about, Superman 4 and Superman Returns. So Superman 4, the best, worst Superman
It's the best one.
Is it because of Nuclear Man?
Nuclear Man is hype as hell.
Is he though?
Yeah.
He like shows up
he
and
looks
like
super cool. He like,
what do you mean?
He has a really cool design.
He has long
nails. Are like, yeah.
I love that when he walks into a dark room, he just powers
He immediately just dies.
Yeah. He's
Superman fucking takes him in a dark elevator and throws him on the moon.
He's like Superman pumped up to like 11. Because like Superman's powered by the sun, Nuclear Man's powered by like light itself or something.
It's like
so
if
when
Superman,
it's dark, he's just like
It's like if Superman were like a solar power like panel that can absorb the sunlight, whereas Nuclear Man is like a plug-in. He has to be plugged into the sun at all times.
Superman's a laptop. Nuclear Man's a desktop.
Have you like talked about the plot of Superman 4?
No, we were just about to start. We were talking about how Alan from 2.5 Men is in it.
He's the best plot of Superman 4.
Okay, Pierre, tell us the plot of Superman 4.
So Superman's like, the world needs peace and sees a bunch of nukes, so he just flies all over the planet, captures all the nukes, gets them all together in a big net
that's like made of metal that he probably like made himself.
And then he throws it into the sun.
And I'm like, I feel like that would cause some sort of thing to happen with the sun. That's a lot of That's a lot of explosives.
It wouldn't do anything. The sun's like massive.
Remember that Superman did what they did in Sunshine when they're like, we gotta reignite the sun.
That's a good movie.
And Superman's like, I'm gonna make the sun double. What do you think of Superman 1 through 3?
1's like, 2's like, and 3's the one where there's evil Superman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that one's also really good.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because you had like, they're in like the junkyard and they're fighting.
That's the worst.
And that's the best scene.
No, the best scene is the peanut scene.
Yeah, he's shooting peanuts at the... And they're like, stop, Superman. He's like, no.
That's All-Star
I'm
right
evil. There. I was poisoned by tar, kryptonite. Yeah, and then in Superman 4, after the big net thing, Lex Luthor clones him from a single strand of hair.
That he has that's just in a museum that's like holding up a weight.
Yeah, and then they make Nuclear Man, and then Nuclear Man has the voice of Lex Luthor, and he's like, I am your father. Yeah, he's like, I am the father. And he's like, what do you mean I created you? And he's like, no.
Yeah.
And then he like wants to have sex with Lois Lane, so tries to
remember that part.
Yeah, there's this whole plot line where the Daily Planet gets bought up by
like a business mogul.
Yeah. And basically like the head writer, or whatever you would call that, the executive for it, is like, no, I'm gonna go get a bank loan and I'm gonna get the Daily Planet back. And he's gone the whole fucking movie.
Yeah, it's like, that's it. I'm not taking this standing down. And then he leaves, and I'm like, did he quit?
So we focus on the mogul, and he's got a daughter who has the hots for Clark Kent, which kind of gets... Lois is like, you're lucky that's not the half that I care about, really. So she kind of goes more... She's like, you fondle over Clark, even though he totally won't like you. And I'll go fondle over Superman. God, I wish these movies would have gotten deeper into that. I watched one clip from the fucking Dean Cain New Adventures of Superman, like Lois and Clark series. There's like a scene where he's like, he tells her he's Superman. She's like, I can't believe you kept this from me. And he's like, yeah, well, it wasn't easy. You're always like fucking ogling over Superman, but you're ignoring me. And she's like, that doesn't count. You are him. And he's like, no. Clark Kent is who I am. Superman's what I can do.
No, when I'm Clark Kent, I'm like this. When I'm Superman, I'm like this.
But anyway, that one scene I feel like did more service to that plot line.
I'm Clark Kent.
Anything the movies tapped into. But anyway, yes. So, yeah, basically, Nuclear Man gets the hots for the mogul's daughter, and he's like, I want her. He starts looking around for her, and Superman's like, no! And they end up fighting in the city.
Why didn't you bring my food in here?
And they end up fighting. He throws him into the elevator and takes him to the moon. And then Lex Luthor...
They fight on the moon!
They do fight on the moon. They fight on the moon.
That's such a good movie.
I will say it's better than 3.
I also had said that earlier, but I will say it again. It's better than 3.
Peter, you like the part in 2
Aren't
when
they
he's like
falling from a building at one point and
I think that's when he first shows up.
Scratches him. He was like, ah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like in number 2 when he's like, kneel before Zod?
2 is actually pretty good. I think 1 is the low point in this.
There's no funny things. Yeah. 1 has the part where he goes around the world and turns back in time.
The last 10 minutes of 1 is good.
What about the fact that he's like 6'4" and a big guy, and he's like, look at this weakling.
Like I said, look at this Luigi.
But yeah, basically, he fights.
He fights Nuclear Man, then eventually wins because he's Superman.
Yeah.
And the movie kind of ends.
Well, then Lex Luthor and Alan from 2.5 Men are trying to make their escape. They're like, Superman will never find us. And Alan's like, I'm glad I brought my drum set. And then Lex throws his drumsticks out of the car. And then Superman probably hears the drums hitting the ground, drumsticks, and he's probably like...
And then Superman picks him up and puts him back in jail.
Yeah,
so I'm remembering this right. Alan from 2.5 Men is like playing Lex Luthor's like nephew or something. Okay.
Yeah. I think Lenny Luthor or something like that.
Yeah, he's just like, whoa, bro. There's a part...
I do think that... It's bad, but I think it's funny throughout, like, how stupid he sounds. He's like... We're gonna kill Superman!
There's a part where, like, he tries to stand up to Nuclear Man, and Nuclear Man just starts spinning him around. And once he's, like, starts to hit the ground and, like, slow down a bit, he's like, whoa, I'm breakdancing! And I'm just like...
He's so... It's great.
But yeah, basically, yeah, he drops Lex Luthor back into the fucking, like, work... area where
and puts Lenny in like a boys' home.
Yeah. And then Lenny's like, well, I hope you guys have drum sets here.
Isn't Lenny supposed to be like a teenager, but he looks like he's like in his 30s or something? That's how I remember.
He was probably like in his early 20s at this point, because he was playing a teenager, like, or I guess he probably was like maybe inching towards his 30s here, maybe late 20s.
He was 22. Okay. He just kind of looks like
he's
kind of looked like he's like 34 forever.
I was just trying to figure out, because doesn't he play a fucking teenager in Pretty in Pink, which came out a few years before this? But anyway,
when did this movie come out? By the
87.
way, oh, yeah. Okay. Because in my mind, I wanted to say it came out like the mid-90s, and it was like, it looks like it's an older movie.
Yeah. So
I like that better.
this is the first and only Superman film that they had like sold the rights to like this different company. I think it was Canon Films. I might be off about that. But Christopher Reeves was like super like, he's like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, come on, you gotta do it. You're fucking Superman. You're gonna disappoint the children.
That's why there was no Superman 5.
Yeah, he almost did Superman 5 because it ended up getting like bought back by the people who did the first 3. And like, if you present me with a good script, I'll do it. And they like brought him a Brainiac script, and it almost came to fruition. But
Brainiac's always been the best. It's like, this is gonna be the next one. Like 3 was supposed to be Brainiac. Superman Returns 2 was supposed to be Brainiac.
it's kind of like what like Crane was to TMNT for a long time, where it's just like somehow the big TMNT villain other than fucking Shredder, and it was just like, no cinematic representation until Michael Bay.
Just like Spider-Man and Big Wheel. They've never gotten a Big Wheel movie.
God damn it, Marvel. Give us the big...
That's what Sony's gonna do for their villains. It's gonna be Venom, it's gonna be Mobius, and it's gonna be Big Wheel.
There we go. But, yeah, so Christopher Reeves only agreed to do the movie. He's like, I'll do the movie, but it's got to have an environmental message. I'm against nuclear bombs. So, yeah, that was why that plot line happened. It's all because a kid wrote him a letter in the movie.
Is this the one where he's like... Is this the one with the train? And he's like, remember, trains are still the safest form.
I think that's the first or second one.
Maybe.
So I think I forgot that plot point. He does this because a kid like writes him a letter.
Yeah.
And at first he's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I can't use my
And then
power.
the moguls decide to like prop this kid up and give him like a bunch of press
And he's
coverage.
like, well,
and
I
really
guess
run
I
this
have to.
Someone needs to mail some kid needs to mail Batman a letter that says, please kill the Joker for the love of God. Just do it already.
And he's like, well...
But the thing is, Batman will be like, fuck you.
He's like, don't tell me. I
Hey, kids.
But, yeah. This one is probably fun. Like, I might honestly... I don't know if I'd say I like this one. Like, I don't know if I'd rather watch 2 or this one. Probably 2. But I don't think it's that far off, considering the gap in quality between the 2 movies. But, yeah. I think Superman 4 is technically bad, but it's great. It's fun. It's hoot and a holler. There's a scene where like Clark goes and
there is a lot of boring shit, I will say, in it as well, but it's a large step up from 3.
I agree.
Besides the part where he's like, I'm flicking peanuts.
Oh yeah, no, that scene.
He should have been killing people
You
like
guys
that.
talked about 2, right?
Yeah.
Talked about the Phantom Zone.
We talked.
We didn't say the Phantom Zone is a very funny name.
I love the Phantom
So
Zone.
we talked about it briefly, and like, I'm Jor-El, and I'm gonna put you into a piece of paper and send you into space.
These are great movies, the more that I think about them.
I like how they're like, we'll put you in this like 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional, whatever piece of glass and send it out into space where you will be for all eternity, unless there just so happens to be a nuclear explosion in space. Which doesn't that kind of fucking happen a lot in space?
It's just like it's more
star
like
is a nuclear explosion.
that's how their prison sentences
24/7.
work. Like, no matter what their prison sentence is, it's just like, we're gonna send you into space, and who knows when you'll get out? Maybe it'll be a 5-minute sentence. Maybe you'll be in there for 5 billion years.
We saw what happened with Doomsday. But yeah. So Superman 4, what would you give it? Or let me guess what you would give it. I don't know. This one's really hard because it's like fun, but it's bad. So those are the ones that I have a really hard time placing numbers for myself. As a matter of fact, other people. A 4. A 3. Okay.
That's what I was about to guess.
Like, I will say that, like, there are parts I like, but I largely still didn't like the movie.
Okay.
You would give this a 4, though.
I would. That's my go-to.
Pierre would give it a 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about Superman Returns.
Did you watch this one? Okay.
How long ago did you watch this one? How long ago did you watch Superman 4?
Wait, he didn't watch these?
No, he didn't watch these.
I'm going
I didn't
based off
even know
memory.
he had seen Superman 4.
I've seen like all the Superman movies.
Okay.
Have you seen Supergirl?
No.
Okay, we didn't watch it yet, but
Is that a movie or do you mean
It's
a
a
show?
it's a
On
movie. It's a movie
CW.
that came out before Superman 4, I think, right after Superman 3.
Yeah, it's
84, I
between 3 and
think.
4. But yeah, Superman.
Pierre's just like, I'm gonna watch something with a woman in it. What?
Not true, by the way.
Only if they're bunnies that are having sex with wolves.
If I remember
Not
correctly,
true, by the way.
the like monsters in Supergirl are like invisible. So
She's just hitting the air.
it's kind of like a budget saver kind of deal.
Classic.
It's like real life.
So Superman Returns, directed by an evil person, has an evil person, but at least the evil person is playing an evil person at the very least.
As much as I want to hate the Lex Luthor in this movie because he's played by Kevin Spacey, there's just something so fucking funny about how he's at least written.
Yeah.
Like the whole...
Well, and that's it. The writing, it's by Michael Dougherty.
yeah, I like
and
Michael Dougherty.
He's awesome. He gets it. He gets it. At least for this movie.
Yeah, he should come back and maybe write the next Superman movie. But,
Should direct the next Superman movie, and it should be made with puppets.
Super Puppet Man. Anyway,
He made Krampus.
and Trick or Treat.
And Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
I haven't seen that one. But, I need to for Kong.
I need to watch. I haven't watched Godzilla, King of Monsters, or Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
Big Monkey always wins. He's
Big monkey, big club.
They
monkey.
one of the trailers, I don't know if it was an accident, but they totally fucking spoiled a twist for the new movie. So
The robot. Yeah. I even got that one.
yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, thanks for not being particular about what you insert into.
Well, maybe it'll happen like 5
can-
seconds in.
I think I know what you guys are talking about, but I want to like believe that by robot you mean John Boyega is going to be piloting his big.
But it's gonna be
and
Pacific.
he's gonna be the villain.
I saw a tweet from Guillermo del Toro.
Apparently,
who was
there's
like,
talks about like bringing that franchise back for like another installment or something.
Pacific Rim.
Mhm.
Pacific Rim 2 did not do very well, so that'd be. I think that movie's really
Great,
good.
and it
Like
sets up
me and Pierre.
a really
That's
cool
one thing that me
sequel.
and Pierre agree on. Apparently,
I didn't watch it. I only saw the first one when it was in theaters.
I think Pierre likes it more than the
I
first
like
one.
it more
I
than the
don't
first
like it
one.
more than the first one, but I think it's fun.
I
More
expect I might
happens.
like it more than the first one because I feel like the first one was just a little too dry.
Well, I mean, it's very the second one's very fun. Very
The second one feel like it feels like the jump from like an 80s anime to like something made in like the mid 2000s.
Okay.
It also kind of feels
Like
like a Power
tonally.
Ranger.
Because it's like, with like those kind of movies, like kaiju movies and giant robot movies, I don't give a shit. I like Kong Skull Island. I'm assuming I might like Godzilla King of the Monsters. I've heard a lot of people didn't like that one. But like, as long as it's schlocky, fun, and there's enough big monster or big robot
That's
fights.
that's why I haven't watched so many Godzilla movies, because I just every time I do, I'm like, why are there so many fucking human subplots? I want to see big monster fight.
Fair.
So,
But the
Kong
scenes where the
Skull
big
Island-
monsters fight are fucking worth it.
Kong
They're
Skull
great.
Island is really good because of the human plot line. Because Samuel Jackson's whole plot is he really hates that monkey,
Yeah,
and he's
John-
willing to like ruin everyone's lives to get revenge on this big monkey.
And then on the opposite end, you got John C. Reilly, who really loves this big monkey. He's like,
Yeah.
man, me and that fucking...
Like me and Pierre.
But, yeah. Anyway, so... Superman Returns
Oh yeah, we were talking about Superman.
takes place after
Two, but
roughly...
it's still like
theoretically-
in modern day. It's like a loose sequel.
Yeah.
Like people on their cell phones.
But basically, Superman... So, a couple years before the movie takes place, 5 years before the movie takes place, Superman... Some like fucking astronauts found the fucking ruins of Krypton in space, and they're like, "That's where it was. This is Krypton." So Superman like hears this, and he's like, I have to go see. I have to know. So he fucking flies up and over. Even though, like, if you do take this as a sequel to 2, that kind of goes against what 2 was going for. Because it's like, Earth needs you, Superman. Don't give up your powers, Superman, because you never know when something big might come and threaten humanity. It's why you couldn't be with Lois Lane. But I guess you could just take a 5-year hiatus from the planet altogether. And yeah, so he's just like, goes to space, comes back. And when he comes back, things are different.
They have cell phones now.
They have cell phones now. He's played by a different actor. And the big difference is that what's it called? Lois Lane has a child, and she's married to the guy who I swear I thought was
Cyclops.
Yeah, I know it's Cyclops. I thought
she's married to Cyclops.
I had a mind melt moment because I for years thought that this guy was the guy from Smallville. It's not the same guy.
What, Brad?
Cyclops.
No, you mean
from Smallville?
Do you mean the show Smallville?
Yeah, the show Smallville. Oh. Like, I thought he was the lead in that series.
That'd be funny.
But, yeah, I was like, oh, that's a cute little Easter egg. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, no, this is the guy from the Sonic movie. Yeah, and Hop.
I forgot that Cyclops was in the Sonic movie.
And Hop.
He's also in the Taco Bell nacho cheese fries commercials.
He's also in Enchanted. He's all over the place.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
Great actor.
I do really like him. I really like him in this movie, too.
Yeah, I don't know what happened at what point in his career, but he seemed to just only take weird, absurd, high-concept comedies after a point. Which I don't think is inherently a bad thing. I just think it's an interesting career decision. But, yeah. So, basically, he comes back and does this. He's like, I'm working back at the Daily Planet again. I will say, I really like Jimmy in this movie.
You're like, who?
Jimmy?
Jimmy's pretty bad.
He's played by Sam Worthington? Is that this guy's name? I want to say he's in, like,
Isn't Sam Worthington the guy that's in Avatar?
It might be.
That's wheelchair guy from Avatar.
I want to say it's like
Sam Huntington.
I was fucking close. Okay. Yeah, so I like this guy. I used to watch him in that fucking Being Human series. That's an American remake of
He's in Fanboys.
He is in Fanboys. I like Fanboys. I haven't watched Fanboys in like probably 10 years, so I don't know if I can stand by that statement, but I remember liking Fanboys.
Me too.
But anyway, so yeah, this one line that I really like in this movie from involving Jimmy, where basically like he meets Lois Lane's husband for the first time. He's like, I heard a lot about you. He's like, you did? And he gets real excited, like Lois was talking about it. He's like, yeah, Jimmy won't shut up about you. And I'm just like, oh, that's sweet. He should be pursuing Jimmy in this movie and not Lois. Instead, I will say, Superman's kind of a creep in this movie. He does a little light stalking. He had always kind of towed the line of being a little creepy.
He does it in everyone.
But I feel like this is the like one where it started kind of like getting like, all right, dude, you're kind of like hovering above her house and using your like X-ray vision to like, eavesdrop on her private conversation.
You can't stop him. I mean, like...
He's like Santa Claus.
He would just destroy anyone who tried to stop him. If anything, we should be questioning the weird power dynamic between Superman in any relationship.
I mean, honestly.
He could break your neck in like a nanosecond.
That's what Marlon Brando was talking about.
Lois Lane can write a newspaper article about you that can destroy your reputation. It's the exact same thing, so it's fine.
Well, she tried with Superman, but that clearly didn't work because he came back and saved one plane and everyone's like suddenly like...
But she was also on that plane. So her being like, I don't need Superman.
Well, how do you know that it wasn't...
it was going to crash. I think it was a baseball stadium.
It was a baseball stadium, yeah.
And they were in the middle of a game, and they're like, what the fuck is a plane? And he's like, I really like that scene.
Yeah, I like that scene,
They
too.
mirror that scene in The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, yeah, they do. Don't they? With the exploding football
field. There's a sports ball field, and something happens on it.
Yeah, they do it in Days of Future Past, too.
Yeah, they do. There's like a baseball field and something happens with it.
I'm sure there's probably more examples of fucking sports fields and superhero movies, but let's... So, yeah, he basically saves the plane. I'm not entirely convinced that he wasn't behind the plane going down in the first place, and this is all just a big publicity stunt.
But we know why the plane went down.
No? Convince me otherwise.
What do you mean? It went down because of the power outage. The EMP.
Wait,
No.
planes aren't connected to the power grid.
It was a Kryptonian EMP.
I wasn't in the room for that scene, so it
If
didn't
it's
happen.
a Kryptonian...
You weren't in the room for that scene?
I'm just being an asshole. I know what...
If it's a Kryptonian EMP, does that mean that Superman would have had to have caused it?
No.
Being the only Kryptonian on the planet?
Let's be honest here. If Superman had been maybe a little bit more careful with where he kept his Fortress of Solitude...
Okay, yeah.
I'm getting some J. Jonah vibes over here. I'm going to start being like Superman's biggest critic.
You know, if Superman didn't run around in his underwear all the time,
If Superman would maybe
we wouldn't have a shortage.
Maybe if Superman would go around and kiss more of his villains, we wouldn't have all these big fucking problems. But
That's true.
fucking anyway. So yeah, basically the big plot line of this movie is Lex trying to create more free real estate because he's picked up a crystal and he figures out you just got to add water and create a whole fucking continent. And then Superman, meanwhile, the whole movie is just...
And he's like, I'm going to put it under the North America.
Yeah.
And then it'll destroy North America and make Lextown.
And he's like... There's a scene where Lois is like, do you think the rest of the world's going to, like, let you do this? And he's like, how are they going to stop me? And it's like, probably with a military or...
And he's like, I'm going to have alien technology.
It's like, I don't know, I look kind of like just a big vacant ocean space rock from where I was standing. Yeah, so basically the main chunk of this plot is like Superman, he's like, oh, I want to be with Lois, but she's with this other guy and they have a kid.
And then, spoiler, it turns out it's Superman's kid. Or
You can't prove that.
Richard's just extremely
I was
strong.
about to say, Richard, though, might be a metahuman.
Yeah, I got you now.
I'm a big fan of the theory that just Lois had some leftover Superman residue in her from like Superman 2. So when he came along and impregnated her, that just a little bit of that Superman got mixed into the batch. So it's actually his kid. It's kind of like a JoJo situation where it's like technically two people's kids. 3 people, if you count all 3
I
of them.
haven't seen JoJo's past episode 6.
That's a very big spoiler that you don't even know what part it's from. So
4.
JoJo spoilers
No.
are the best spoilers because they don't make sense if you don't know.
exactly.
There's the iconic scene in this movie.
Yeah.
And his eyes just... And then the guy's like, oh.
Yeah, because the whole time he's just like loads a Tommy gun into him. He's like, oh, that didn't work. Let me pull out the pistol. This is most assuredly gonna work. Didn't work.
I like the part in this movie where the kid throws a piano at that guy.
Yeah.
And kills him.
Yeah.
If there was a sequel to this, I would just want it to be about his, like, trauma from killing someone.
So apparently there was talks of a sequel to this for a while, and there was this, like, synopsis that people can't figure out if it's real or not. Spoiler alert, I don't think it's fucking real, because the plot of it is just so fucking stupid that I'd like to think that Hollywood executives
It's
were
like,
not...
Superman gets a new car, but he can't find the keys to it.
Try to guess who the villain in this hypothetical sequel would have been.
The kid.
Metallo.
Well, kind of. It's going to be Brainiac.
Yeah.
So basically, the plot of it was like, Superman was going to find another Kryptonian. He's going to be like, yo, Kryptonian, my brother, you're going to be my guy. And then
And it was going to be a guy named, like, George.
But basically, he's like, this Kryptonian comes to Earth, and he's like, yeah, I'm on Earth. This is great. And he's like, what the fuck? What's with all this war and fucking shitty people? Superman's like, that's just the way things gotta be. And he's like, no. Use your powers to fucking fix this world with an iron fist. And Superman's like, no. And then it turns out that this Kryptonian actually isn't Kryptonian, he's Brainiac. Oh no, and he possesses Superman's son and turns him into a full-grown adult and completely takes over his body, and Superman has to kill his kid / Brainiac. And that was the plot synopsis for the supposed
I would be okay with it if he was still a child and the movie ended with him, like, choking out a kid, and as soon as the kid, like, draws his last breath, it just cuts to credits.
Isn't there
How great would be
a super kid?
What?
That's a villain?
What?
Isn't there a movie already that's about a super kid that's a villain? Oh, okay, yeah.
I haven't watched it, but I know that was like...
I forgot the name of it, but I was like, isn't it about a kid who just is super powered and then, like, destroys the world?
As far as I know. But, and basically, it'd be real funny if they just did, like, the fucking, like, demonic toys thing where it's just some kid with, like, an adult voice dubbed over it with, like, bright green eyes. But, I'm Brainiac.
Hello, Dad. It's me, your son.
Oh, man. I want that sequel to it because it's so bad now. But, yeah, so basically...
Charles Band should direct it.
He should. He should direct the next Superman movie.
Superman Returns again.
I mean, he did Dr. Mordred, which was supposed to be Doctor Strange.
Yeah. He can just do this generic Superman knockoff. Call it, like, Strong Guy. But, yeah, so...
Magnificent boy!
Yeah, the movie ends, like,
Megamind.
So, like, Superman shows up to Lex Luthor's little continent that he just built, and, like, after he saved Lois, her husband, and... Not her husband, because they're not married, but...
Because she's still in love with Superman.
Yeah, but for all intents and purposes, I'm going to call him the husband in this movie. Just to make
His name's Richard.
Richard. All right, I'll call him Richard, or I'll call him the Sonic guy.
Call him Pickle Rick.
So anyway, Pickle Rick shows
real
up...
quick. Replace the at in Patrick with Ickle.
Pickle?
Replace the at in Patrick with Rick Ickle.
So, like, hold on. Just the at? So you want me to be like...
Take the at out.
Oh, I see. It took me a second to catch on there, but I...
Pickle Trick?
Pickle Rick? What'd you...
You left the T from Pat.
Pickle Trick?
Tickle Rick?
Tickle my Pickle Rick?
Anyway, so fucking...
So this big landmass is pretty much made of, like, Kryptonium.
Yeah, he saves Pickle Rick,
Kryptonite, white Kryptonium.
from a boat that's sinking that they're going to drown on, and then Pickle Rick gets in his helicopter, starts flying away, and then, like, Lois Lane and the kid are like, no, we gotta go back and save Superman, he's gonna die.
And they're on a seaplane, not a helicopter, by the way.
Who the fuck cares? Anyway, so on their Sea Pickle Rick plane,
Stop saying Pickle Rick.
they go back, and the kid's like, I see Superman, he's in the water! And they look, and they're like, so he is. So they go, and they get him out, and they're like, we're gonna go fly away somewhere, away from this continent, and get you help. And Lois pulls out a big shard of kryptonite that Lex Luthor had stabbed into him.
And, like, broken off.
Yeah. And then, like, Superman's like, thanks, and he just goes, flies into the ocean, just, like, pushes it into space, and just, like...
All the while, like, kryptonite is, like, slowly about to, like, reach it, so then he, like...
Yeah, it's growing.
Yeah.
And it's, like, starting to, like, come out, and it's coming close to...
And he's extremely weak by the time he pushes, so then he just falls to Earth, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then he gets sent to a hospital.
Yeah, and everyone's just like, we gotta save Superman! They try to, like, inject shit into him, and the needles bend, and they're just like, fuck!
That's what they say. That's the one fuck. They're just like, fuck!
It would have been great if that had actually been in the movie. But, so yeah, they save Superman. He's, like, in a coma for a couple days, and he just flies away, and he goes and he has a little pep talk with his son. He's like, hey, you're my son, just so you know. I don't know if he actually says that. I can't quite remember.
No, he's just like, you're like a pickle.
And I'm like, the Rick. Together we form Pickle Rick. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, 100.
He doesn't say he's his, but he does the father and son speech. Thing.
Yeah, and he's like, 100 years, Rick and Morty, and then he flies away, and that's Superman Returns. It's just sad we never got a sequel. I would have liked if Bryan Singer and Kevin Spacey walked away from this franchise. Michael Dougherty and Brandon Routh stayed, and they
bring in Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
No, I would say I want, like, I always pictured, like, Bruce Willis being, like, a pretty good contender, but I currently don't want Bruce Willis anywhere.
But at that time, 2006 Bruce Willis, maybe.
Yeah, but
or Pierre. He could be a good Lex Luthor. He's like this. I hate humanity because they worship a god. I should be the only god they worship.
If Pierre was Lex Luthor,
pretty cool.
If Pierre was Lex Luthor, he would just be like, I need to make Nuclear Man just over and over again.
Well, one Nuclear Man didn't work, but what about 10? No.
Just every time it fails, he's like, well, that didn't work.
Add one more Nuclear Man.
Oh, man. But, yeah, so...
No, not even that. The first time it's like Nuclear Man didn't work. Well, what about this Nuclear Man with a crowbar?
Crowbar fingers. Just his nails have like kind of like hooked at the end.
Beautiful.
I really like Superman Returns. I was surprised that it held up for me, at least. I think that the acting is really cool. And, like, I hate Bryan Singer, but there's some really cool direction in it, and I really like a lot of the camera work in it. There's one scene where it, like, starts on a roof and then goes down, like, while somebody's walking onto the balcony, and they open it up to The Man of Steel Returns or something like that.
Yeah.
And, like, the CG in it looks really bad at times, but...
2006.
Yeah, but, like, the airplane scene's really cool. I really like the boat scene in which they're, like, drowning. It, like, feels like it actually has a lot of stakes. And then Lois gets hit in the fucking head with a metal door. And I'm like, oh my god, did she just die?
Yeah. I like the actor they got for Lois in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's pretty good. And what else? There's one. Oh, one thing I wanted to bring up. Because Bryan Singer talked about, like, why he thought this movie kind of failed. And he said that when he was creating it, he wanted to try to make it appeal to a woman fan base. And I think he was like, yeah, the romance, that's what that'll be. So I think that's... And he attributes that to being the reason why the movie failed.
Romantic movies are for women.
Yeah, and it's like... That's kind of the stuff that I liked from the original, like, movie.
You're a woman.
Number one. It's like, I don't think the romance in that movie was, like, super fucking well built or anything.
But they were charismatic enough to like, carry it. And it was
exactly.
Fun. Yeah.
And I think this movie did a decent job about building on that relationship, especially since it had been, like, fractured with the whole, like, 5 years in space and shit. And her not remembering that hella bomb kiss he gave her.
No, there's a lot of, like... There's a lot of dissection in this movie, like, what Superman is to people. That I really like, and like, why are you looking like that?
Because I was just picturing Superman dissecting people with his eye beam.
Is that the PS2 version?
Yeah, I was looking at the final boss because I remember being a stupid tornado.
Of Superman Return?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it on Xbox 360, and I was like looking it up the other night, and I was like, there's a PS2 version. I looked at a gameplay, I'm like, holy shit, the graphics.
That's the only version I played.
The 360 graphics, I mean, they weren't, like, stellar, but they looked like a Superman game, but, like, I was looking at that.
The final boss is a tornado. It's still, like, Lex Luthor's island, like, appears a kryptonite, but then it also generates a big tornado of kryptonite. He needs to fight the big tornado.
Of course he does. I would have liked if they had maybe done, like, at least one sequel to this. With Michael Dougherty and some other actor playing Kevin Spacey's role.
Playing Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, I almost said playing Kevin Spacey. Playing Lex Luthor. And yeah. But we never got it. And it almost seemed like there was hope for Brandon Routh as Superman again with the
Crisis on Infinite Earths. Well, maybe they'll just do it again. Another CW. We'll see.
Because I feel like right now the reason why they're not doing that is probably because they're trying to push this other Superman show that they got.
Yeah.
They don't want the competition because, from what I understand, like everyone who watched the Crisis on Infinite Earths thing was like, yeah, Brandon Routh kind of stole the show in every fucking scene he was in, which is understandable because he's a great Superman and he really channels into that Christopher Reeves energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You would give this movie a...
Do you want me to say something first?
Say what you want.
I think that this might be my favorite live-action Superman movie.
Okay.
So, if that changes anything.
8?
7.
Okay.
But, pretty close. 6? For you? 7?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, no, I was surprised. I was like...
This is my second favorite.
Yeah. Also, I really like the soundtrack in this movie.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really bopping. It's like... And then it's like really like melancholy and sad. And then it like jumps back in. Kind of like the first movie.
Yeah. I don't know.
Pierre would give this movie a 5.
That's what I would give it a 5.
He hasn't seen it in a while.
PS2 game.
Probably give the PS2 game like
A 9.
7 or an 8. You can play as Bizarro.
Oh.
Who plays Bizarro? I don't remember that. I don't think I ever beat the game.
Yeah, I never
Because
beat it either.
it's not very good.
I remember...
Great.
I remember like a scene where I'm in space and I have to like fly around this big green room with like some layered levels or something. I remember.
Yeah, it's like the tutorial. You're like, it's like the movie's plot where it's like he left.
Yeah.
But in the game, they say, well, he was gone for so long because he was on like a prison gladiator planet fighting in gladiatorial battles for like
That makes
3
sense.
years.
No, it makes sense.
But then I remember like a scene where it's like I have to like take out meteorites on
That's like directly after it.
I probably didn't get there.
That's like the first hour of the game.
But
Was the city free roam or was it
so
like...
because Superman's so strong, he doesn't have a health bar. Instead, the city has a health bar, and you only lose when the city takes too much damage.
I remember sometimes I would try to speedrun losing. Like, I'd be like, how fast can I
How
destroy
fast can you
this city?
destroy the city?
I was kind of doing that. There's this like fucking Superman-esque game called Undefeated, and I was like, because you fight like a boss, and it's like, all right, there you go. You can do some missions and get your hero points up. And I was like, how can I get my hero points down? I just started destroying cars, and I kept knocking it down. And I was like, yes, this is the only negative thing I can do.
Okay, before we do anything else,
Oh, yeah.
we have some questions from Pierre. We've already recorded the podcast, so we're going to... Question 1. What is the most funny Family Guy cutaway?
The
I don't
one
remember
where
any of them.
the girl on the train sees something strange and she tells her mom and she's like, you're not getting a birthday party. I don't know if that's a
That was hilarious!
I know, right?
Shut the fuck up. Pierre, what's your favorite Family Guy cutaway? You can't think of it.
I think there's one where, like, Peter's, like, says that is having a cutaway. It's more of a flashback to, like, Meg being born. And when they're filling out the birth certificate, Lois tells him to fill it out, and he writes her name as Megatron. So Meg is just short for Megatron, canonically. It's less of a cutaway, more of a flashback, but it's kind of treated like a cutaway.
I like the one where Peter gets his arms ripped off. Was that a cutaway? I can't remember if it was a
That's
cutaway.
a part of an episode. It's
But
just a plot.
if the whole show is just like cutaways, then the main thing is also a cutaway from the cutaway.
The last episode just gonna be like, and that was the time I
Met your mother. That was how I met your
Family
mother.
Guy.
Question 2. What is the best song to work out? 2, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
It has to be blaring on a loudspeaker. It's Whip It by Devo.
Like Mr. Blue Sky by ELO. I don't fucking know.
I think it's the Superman theme.
Dun, 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 dun.
That seems Seems like something Christian would do. He'd be working out the Superman theme song. Pierre, what's the best song to him? Oh, Every Time We Touch by Cascade. Yeah.
Every time we touch.
That song that Zac Efron sings on the golf course in High School.
That on it?
Yeah.
Everybody's always talking at me. I need to pick the High School Musical trilogy.
Just blast on a loudspeaker. While
Thomas did not like me saying I should pick the High School.
That'll be the episode with me and Pierre. It'll just be
Okay.
That'll be episode just me.
you and Julia.
Me and no one else. I was going to be talking about High School Musical for 4 hours.
What is the worst fandom?
Snyder.
Screen fandom.
The Screen Weens fandom's rough. We got a guy named Pierre.
It's non-existent.
It's just Pierre going, you want to hear some questions?
The worst fandom. I'm trying to think of like a fandom that genuinely kind of turns me off.
Hitler.
Also, I'm playing Undertale
The Hitler
on their
fandom.
Switch at Walmart today.
You saw somebody playing what?
Undertale on their Switch at Walmart.
The Undertale fandom's pretty bad. But I'd say like Nazis. The Nazi fandom's
Would
pretty
you
bad.
call like neo-Nazis a
Yeah, I would.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Someone really needs to do something about this alt-right fandom going on.
Oh. Okay. So this month we're taking a break from DC movies because it's Black History Month. So it's all gonna be movies picked by Pierre. Just kidding,
yeah.
we're not doing that. Wait, do you want to do one that's picked by Pierre?
Yeah.
Okay, Pierre. 2 movies right now.
2 movies.
Yeah.
One, Holes.
No, I just know.
Aragon.
Okay.
Alright, would you rather watch those or would you rather do the bag?
We can do Aragon. We just
London
watched
doesn't like
Holes.
Holes.
Don't pick a different movie than Holes. I just
the one with the snowboarding chimpanzee. I think it's with most extreme primate or something.
Isn't that like
MXP,
the third
it's
installment?
the third one.
It's the only one I watch, but I watch it like 80 times.
Oh. All right, well. No,
Man,
we can't
I
do
can't
that
wait.
for Black
Yeah, I was
History.
gonna say that might
You
be a
saw
little.
through my roof.
That might be a little controversial.
Yeah, Black History Month. Pierre's like,
Watch this movie about a monkey.
We can't have snowboarding on Black History Month. Shaun White wouldn't.
So I'll just pick instead. We're gonna watch Dolomite.
Okay.
And we're going to watch the movie from 2 years ago, Dolomite Is My Name, which is like kind of a comedy with Eddie Murphy about the making of the Dolomite movie.
I figured Dolomite was the Eddie Murphy one.
What's a Dolomite?
It's like an old 70s like show
Movie.
Yeah. I thought it was a show, but I'm probably wrong.
To anyone listening, please write in your support to have Aragon on Screen Weens.
Pierre, the last episode of this month.
Aragon.
There you go. The last episode of this month, you can pick 2 movies. Aragon can be one of them.
Aragon can be both.
Watch Aragon twice. All right. Hey, thanks everybody for watching another episode of Screen Weens. Bye.
Try not to die.